Hello and welcome to On The Esky, sports podcast, where we, actually three dribblers this week, we're down a man, very passionate about our sport. We drink beers and talk shit. Today's show, we've got a big show planned. We've got to jump into the NRL, and there's only one big game happening this week, and that being State of Origin.
Game 2, baby.
Then there's a full slate of AFL games, no more buys for them. Then we've got the Cricket World Championship as well. NBA. Great playoffs, let's put it that way, going at the moment.
Saucy.
Yeah, very saucy series, and we'll take a deep dive into that. And then we've got the final round where we'll cover everything else. We've got heaps of news. There's a Golf USA Open. There's Euros.
US Open.
USA Open.
Euros. NHL Playoffs, which we know heaps about.
Yeah, F1. There's a little boxing news. And, of course, the Olympics are a month away.
I did not realise until I just checked my phone there that the Olympics are in a month.
Yes.
Coming up quick.
Here we go, huh?
And all news is it's still happening. So, I'll save the news for about crowds to the end, but
I'm sure people are aware. But the Olympics, the 2020 Olympics are about to happen in July 2021. To my left, we've got Monkey. To my right, Sean. I'm Pepsi. We are missing the Chrome Dome Mac this evening. So apologies to our Western Bulldogs enthusiasts. You lose your 5 to 8 minutes there. We lose maybe a little bit on the AFL side of things. But how are we, boys?
Very good. It's been a good week, I think, and a lot of sport happening.
Yeah.
Huge week
across the globe.
Horny for this episode. Speaking of horny, Monkey.
Wait, what?
Let's shout a beer. Who have you got this week, mate?
I'm going to shout a beer to all of the 76er fans out there.
Yeah.
Tough loss in the Eastern Conference semi-finals.
Yeah, Game 7.
Game 7, down to the wire. So this, also I should mention, this playoff series, the first playoff series where neither first seeds on Eastern or Western have made it through to the conference finals.
Since
1994. So
that is wild. So the number one seed has made it to the finals.
At least one.
For 27 years.
Every single conference final.
Madness. And we'll get to the NBA in a sec, but I'm so excited about this last four because there's 2 championships between all 4. So the Clippers and Suns, if they were to win it, they don't have any.
Yep,
the Hawks don't have one as the Atlanta Hawks. They've got one as the St. Louis Hawks in 1958. And the Bucks won in 71. So whatever happens, there's going to be some kind of mad party in one of those 4 cities.
Yes, some long-suffering fan bases that'll finally get to celebrate big time.
Big time. There might be a few, three generations. You might be like their little kid with dad and granddad who,
exactly
followed the sport for, 50, 60 years and celebrating a win for the first time. So,
and there's been massive crowds across all the American sports in their playoffs at the moment.
Very interesting considering what's going on in this country.
Yes.
But I diverge. Sean, who would you like to shout a beer to?
I'm going to shout a beer out to my cousin Jared Berry, who plays for the Brisbane Lions, and the Lions are playing tonight. Still struggling with that groin injury. Probably shouldn't be having a beer while he's in recovery.
Yeah, that's what they say for professional athletes. I'll tell you what, as a reserve grade footballer, recovery definitely involves a few of those.
Yeah, some cold ones.
That's right. You ice the groin and you got the beers there on ice too. It's multitasking.
Yes. Of course, he, I think, was meant to play a VFL game last week and I think missed out, had a retweak. He has been running, he's been at training, but they're managing him at the moment. Of course, he's not playing tonight and hopefully he might get a VFL game on the weekend.
Wishing him all the best.
Exactly.
Yeah, and similar kind of thing to Kalen Ponga at the moment, who's got
the older abductor.
Adductor.
I knew I was going to fuck it up, so I was waiting for it.
So the AB ductors are on the outside and the adductor is essentially your groin. Yeah. But it can be a lingering pesky injury. So wishing him all the best. Hopefully we see him running out there for the Lions shortly. We are currently watching the Brisbane Lions take on the Geelong Cats up there at the Gabba. It's early on. The Lions are off to a great start. They started this game at 7:32, boys, because it's live. No Thursday night NRL this week, so they thought let's jump on the live market or the live audience up there in Brisbane. 7:32 start, so they didn't get any problems with home and away.
Yeah, no clashes.
Running late.
You can't miss home and aways.
Jeez, who's watching home and away these days? But boomers, they probably
comment.
Yeah, probably sitting on their lounge in their 8 houses that they own, just watching home and away, and don't get around podcasts or the internet or anything.
Well,
like
maybe
that.
we should start a home and away podcast. I don't think there's many of them out there,
mate. Less people will listen than listening to this one. I'd like to shout a beer to Keshav Maharaj, I should say, the South African spinner. He's got South Africa's second ever hat-trick in their second test against West Indies over there in St. Lucia. They won the series 2-0. But poor Maharaj, he took a hattie, and granted, it wasn't the best hat-trick of all time. The first wicket was a slog sweep caught in the deep. Second ball, not too bad. And the third ball was actually, he pushed it down leg and the blokes played at it. Maybe didn't have to play. Great catch at leg slip by Vian Mulder there. The bloke had 7 for 83 on the match, and he didn't get man of the match. He didn't get man of the match. He got absolutely shafted for Rabada, who had 5 for 68. That was his match figures. So good figures, but you'd say Maharaj is better. And also the second hat-trick ever for South Africa. Here's a household name for you. Jeff Griffin, 1960. He played 2 tests for South Africa, and he got a hat-trick in one of those 2 tests. So guys named Donald, Pollock, Stain, Morkel, I could go on, Philander, have never done it, but Keshav Maharaj has. So well done, son. Have a beer or a pina colada or whatever they're serving over there in the West Indies for you, mate.
So speaking of cricket, I think we'll keep going with the cricket, and it's the big cricket series, well, the match that's going on at the moment is the World Test Champions. So
championship, we got there. We got there.
Yes.
And the big story happened overnight, about 12 hours ago. New Zealand have done the unthinkable. They've beaten Goliath. David has beaten Goliath over there in England in a 6-day rain-affected test match. They've put him in the chili bun. Goliath is in the chili bun, and New Zealand are the World Test Champions. India.
That's it.
All out 217, their first innings. It was Kyle Jamieson, the big money man from the IPL that did the damage, 5 for 31 of his 22 overs. Can you imagine bowling 22 overs and going for 31? 31 is 2 overs for me in park cricket. Like, just lethal. And the conditions over there, the ball was hooping, and New Zealand notably didn't pick a spinner, didn't need one. They just went with their 5 quicks. Colin de Groundholm didn't even bowl in the second innings, and Jamieson got the job done in the first innings. It was Southey in the second. Boys, thoughts on the match?
Well, I think at one point we're going to get stuck into the fact that this game was not going to have a result due to the weather in England, and we were going to get stuck into how much of playing Test cricket in a butthole country like England is just because of the weather.
I'm glad you said it, mate. I'm glad you said it. Let's send them all down to paradise. All these convicts, they can go live in paradise, and there's beaches and surf. Yeah. They can go live there, can't they?
Jeez, starting the accents early. It's
11 degrees and raining in summertime over here.
Yeah. But I think it was good that they kept the 6-day in for this. So it made the match. So
and it gave us a thrilling result. Whereas if this was a 5-day test match, it would have been a snooze fest of a rain-affected draw.
Yeah, and we would have gone in on the
would have gone hard. So.
If we're going to pick a neutral place to play a World Test Championship, let's pick somewhere that isn't England next time.
Australia. Mate, Australia and Perth. Have you ever seen rain-affected match in Perth?
No.
It fucking doesn't rain there.
No, not at all.
Have it in Alice Springs.
It'd be warm, but it wouldn't rain.
This time of the year would be quite cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets cold in the desert. Bit of fun fact there.
Run us through how we got to the end.
So I spoke about India's first innings, scheduled for 217. Rahane and Kohli put up a bit of a fight there. They both made 40-odd. As mentioned, it was Kyle Jamieson who did the damage with the rock there. New Zealand went out for a stick. They were all out 249. That man, Devon Conway, he's in great nick, 54. And I was saying to the boys at dinner last night with a few of our let's say more casual cricket fans, I was saying, you know what really gets me fired up? A 5-hour 49 just out there, just in horrible batting conditions. The ball's hooping, and Kane Williamson just nutted out a really tough 49. And a few of our more casual cricket fans thought that might have been the most boring thing ever. Me, as a test nuffy, I really like to see it, especially considering how green the conditions were over there and the amount that ball was hooping.
Oh, yeah, it moves around.
A really gritty knock there from the skipper.
So I think that day with Conway, that ended they were only one down for about 100 or something. So
yeah,
they made another 150. And the next day they actually got to play.
Yeah, which was day 3.
Yes.
And then so it was day 1 and day 4 that got completely rained out, not a ball bowled. Coming into day 5, it kind of looked like we might not get a result. Sorry to just jump across here. It looks like Lockie Neal has got some kind of shoulder injury. We'll keep an eye on that and
we'll come back to that.
Definitely come back to it when we get into the AFL. In the second innings, India, they went out there, they made 170. Rishabh Pant sort of made a pesky 41. Tim Southey was the best of the bowlers for the Kiwis with 4 for 48. And the big story, Cole Jamieson got Coley again.
Yep.
So we were talking about a few months ago when the IPL was still running that he'd had a very quiet IPL given his price tag, but he really looks legit. He's tall, he hoops the ball, he gets good bounce even there in England. Imagine him bowling over here, not going to get the same hoop, but yeah, he'd be very scary. I think
he won't get the side-to-side movement, but he'll get the up and down. That's for sure.
For sure.
On Coley though, is he still missing a ton? I don't think he's.
Yeah, no, he hasn't got an international ton
since 2019. I think it is at this point. I don't want to put you on the spot, Monks, but
I'm sure.
I think that's what we're tracking.
Because the last time we were talking about it was when he was last playing international cricket here, and it was in the high 30s. His international knocks since getting a ton. I'm sure you'll be able to bring that up. He's good, unbelievable. He's better than good. Better than good. But
we'll have to see what we'll talk more about the England versus India series coming up in a minute, and what that kind of impact is. But I thought it was just interesting to say is at this point here too that yes, another match and another no ton for the Coley.
Indeed. Where did we get to? The 4th innings. So
to finish it up. So
Williamson went out there. He made 52 unbeaten. The big story here was the LBW. Ashwin had him trapped, it seemed, on 1. They reviewed it. And watching this live, it kind of looked pretty plumb. Did you think so? And then the DRS come through and it was going well down leg. It didn't spin at all, essentially, is what the Hawkeye was saying.
And sometimes you look at some of the Hawkeyes and you look at where the ball ends and where it's moved straight after it. Because, again, it's a projection, so it's what it thinks is happening based on that first motion. But sometimes, I think it gets it wrong, and maybe it misses where the ball is by a solid inch. So,
it looked like, because it wasn't. It was missing by like a full ball width.
Yeah.
So very interesting, very interesting. Hard one, but that's the technology's there, and I imagine it's better than our dumb eyes can see. So that was the call. So that was when the New Zealand skipper was on 1. He went on to an unbeaten half century. Ross Taylor, the evergreen 37-year-old, he got dropped by Pujara off Bumrah, and then he got hit on the lid by Bumrah. It was a ball that was just short of a length, and it hit some kind of a landmine and ended up clocking him right on the lid there. And pretty much after that, Williamson and Taylor got settled in, and it seemed inevitable that they were going to get the runs. You see all the Kiwis up in the stands. There was a full bay of Kiwis up there, shirts off, swinging the shirts around, having the best time. Party mode had started. And the commentators were going, have a look at this. This is a large village in New Zealand. There's about 40 blokes there. But the result is in a rain-affected 6-day test match. New Zealand are the test champions of the world. They're the number 1 ranked test team. They were the runners-up in the 2019 ODI World Cup.
They've just beaten 2 and 3, haven't they? So
that's right. And for a country of 5 million, unbelievable. And our Indian listeners, don't get too shitty with me. It's just a comparison. I'm not saying it's population. It's just a comparison. But New Zealand 5 million, Greater Mumbai 23 million. So you'd fit 4.5 New Zealands into Mumbai. Unbelievable.
Mumbai alone,
for us, geez, as Aussies, we got embarrassed by India B here in our summertime. different conditions over there. India, if this game's in India, surely it's a completely different result.
Yeah.
Conditions.
It favoured the Kiwis, of course, because England is same, but different to New Zealand. So...
see how green that, like, obviously they get a lot of rain.
I just couldn't believe how much the ball was moving. Like,
hooping.
Like,
and late as well. Like, you might get
late swing like a foot. Like, it was crazy.
You might get that here in, say, a pink test for the first 8 overs.
If you're lucky.
And then it fucks off.
Yeah.
But this was just incessant. Like, it was just swinging
the entire
40,
match.
50 overs in, and the ball was still just hooping. So, mate, for anyone that was out there, like a Williamson or a Ross Taylor, just chewing up balls and you know, just playing really sound defence, leaving well.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, to cement their kind of position, like, it'd be really interesting. Do I think the Australians could beat the New Zealand side in Australia? I think it'd be competitive, and yeah, there's probably a good chance they'd win a good portion of those matches
Here,
in New Zealand.
And I guarantee,
I don't think so.
well, if we had to do what India's just done and go play them in Hampshire in a rain-affected, overcast, cool game, we would have got fucked up.
Yep.
I guarantee you.
Yep.
I guarantee you.
Yeah. Good thing the Ashes this year are in Australia, not in England.
Yeah, big time. And they're not against New Zealand.
And they're not against New Zealand, yes.
So shout out to the little brother. I don't know if we can keep calling him the little brother, but they've gone out and they've bashed big brother and big uncle, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. It was the last test match for BJ Watling. So 75 tests for him, 35 years old. I wish Macca was here because he might have been able to go close on this one. So BJ Watling averages 37.5 through his 75 tests, nearly 3,800 runs. Do you know what Brendan McCullum's average is off the top of your head if you had to guess?
Well, the same or a bit less.
Max?
Probably say less, yeah. By the way you're going.
I really want to Macca here. I thought it was more. Brendan McCullum even, his test average, 38.5. So very, very similar. Played 100 tests, only 4 years older than BJ Watling as well. So a bit of that has to be considered. They overlapped each other a fair bit. And then you think, oh, well, who's going to replace him? Tom Blundell, he's already got 11 tests under his belt. He got a ton on test debut. He's only 30. That's the New Zealand test keeper for the next 5 to 6 years, surely.
Yeah. He's not. He won't put up. He'll put up good numbers, but he won't put up massive numbers starting in his 30s or 28 by that if he's played 11 tests. So
massive career numbers, no. But in terms of averages, you think of, say, Mike Hussey, who debuted very late.
Agree.
There's no reason why he can't be a 60, 70 test kind of dude that averages, 40. So, yeah, congrats to the little brother, or not so little brother.
Now, yes, definitely.
Hopefully this doesn't become like a rugby union kind of situation where...
I hope not.
I severely doubt it.
Yeah. Go, sorry. I was going to say international rugby at this point, it's kind of, well, the blood is low. It's just like, okay, cool. We'll come back when it's all finished and New Zealand have won all 3. We don't want to get to that point.
No.
Otherwise, we'll start bowling underarm again.
Maybe. Colley's last century in both Test and ODIs was November 2019.
Yeah, it was.
November 2019.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I just wanted to point on that. So England versus India coming up probably in a couple of weeks, I think.
No, August, start of August. So they've got this series now against Sri Lanka. So they've already played the first T20 yesterday. Joss Butler went nuts. They won that pretty easily. There's 2 more T20s followed by 3 ODIs. The way Sri Lanka is at the moment, you don't see them winning a game in that, really.
No.
It's quite sad to see. And then Pakistan has the same fixtures throughout July. So 3 2020s, 3 ODIs, and then New Zealand get there for the first test starting August 4?
August 8th.
August 8th.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, you were right, the 4th.
4th to the 8th.
Fourth, third. There you go.
Sometimes this thing goes better than the old Google. And sometimes it goes horribly wrong.
What are India doing in that time frame?
Can't imagine. Just be netting it, I'd imagine.
It'd be interesting because
I don't think any of them are playing in the PSL, which is going on at the moment.
So India looks like they're playing ODIs T20s against Sri Lanka, and then in July, and then they head off.
Oh, but are they playing in Sri Lanka? So Sri Lanka plays.
Yes, in Sri Lanka.
So Sri Lanka's playing England now, and then they fly back. What are the dates on those?
Starts on the 13th of July.
There you go. So a lot of travel and a lot of cricket for the Sri Lankan cricket team right now.
Well, then, India goes from England to Sri Lanka, back to England.
They're probably going to get handily spanked in all those matches, but I think it's good, still good for cricket because you want to be playing against those top sides
and get the exposure. But
exactly.
But for me, growing up, Sri Lanka were really good, man. They won an ODI World Cup. We're in the days of Murali and Jayasuriya and Arjuna Ranatunga and De Silva. Like they were. They did beat them. I'll say it. I was about to say world beaters. They won a World Cup, so you could say they're world beaters. And now, much like the West Indies, they're just on this horrible.
Well, I was going to say, does On The Esky need to go in there and save Sri Lankan cricket like it did West Indies cricket?
Just give them a big kick up the arse and bag them out, and you watch they'll come out and win.
Well, no, we've already done it. So
you want them to win. Put money against them. That's the best way to get them to win. That's the best way to get them to win.
True, and I guarantee England and India will be paying very short in both of those series. I'd say.
Yeah. Maybe at home Sri Lanka can pinch a game here or there. It is shorter format cricket.
So I want to finish up on Kohli because we've been talking about it throughout this, and I know I've definitely seen throughout our comment section there's a bunch of Indian fans that what have you done recently for me that Kohli's no good and you take the captaincy away from him, we get someone else in there.
Where are we going?
I know you boys are going to be like, that's dumb. Kohli's excellent. You're not picking him from anywhere else. But do you think, is he coming underdone on this or does he need to show something in this series against England?
Yeah, if you get to, say, the end of September and they've had all these games, this little tour of Sri Lanka under the belt and 5 test matches and he hasn't turned up, then maybe you have the conversation. We tend to be so short-sighted. We tend to focus on form and this and that. And in the IPL, he was killing it before.
I'm pretty sure he got a 70 in one of those matches as well. So it's
he's still getting runs. He was hardly getting out. Look, I don't see there being any pressure on him whatsoever. If we're having this conversation in 3 months at the end of the India series, and Sri Lanka will be done after that, and they've played 5 tests, 3 2020s, 3 ODIs, and he hasn't made runs, then maybe there's a conversation. But you're talking about one of the best cricketers that's ever walked on earth.
Yep.
Everyone goes through shit form. We're talking about it with Aaron Finch. Okay, and I'm not putting Finch and Kohli in the same. No. In the same.
Well, he was T20 player of the decade, one of the T20 players of the decade.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, he made the ICC 2020 team of the decade. He's Australia's most accomplished 2020 batsman. Mm-hmm. You go through shit form sometimes, and usually you come out and you go, "Oh, well, I'm back. I'm in a purple patch." I imagine Kohli does that. It's been a strange time, 2019, November 2019, the COVID wasn't a thing.
Yeah, well, that was the last time of like a full summer, summer for us, full slate of cricket in that time frame. Because then we had last year, and then we're kind of trying to get back into the normal rhythm of being able to travel internationally to play international cricket.
Mate, if anyone's calling for Kohli's head, I think you need to check what they're smoking. To be honest, I think he's fine. Yeah. So watch, he will come out and score runs this year.
I do ask, and like Kohli's probably got a little bit of protection with the whole captaincy hat on, but you look at India's bowlers, it's a turnstile, and not because they're in bad form, but because everyone is in great form that can play to conditions.
Yeah.
Why
is Kohli exempt?
Yeah.
Because his name starts and ends with Kohli.
But just look at his record. Like, we're talking nearly 40 international sticks without a ton. He's scored plenty of 50s in that, mind you.
He's had a good average.
So he's not the same Kohli that we were seeing in 18-19. Yes, I'll accept that. he's still one of the best cricketers walking planet Earth.
Yeah.
So anyone that wants to sit behind a computer or an iPhone and call for Coley's head can fuck off. And that's coming from a guy that's
sitting behind
that's sitting behind a computer. But that is, but I'm not. I very rarely call for anyone's head.
Yeah.
And also, I'm passionate Australian fan. I can appreciate who he is as a cricketer, but as a fan, I fucking love seeing Coley suck. As a fan, I love to see it. I want to see it.
Keep him in the team.
I hope it always happens.
Yeah.
But as someone that tries to be objective sometimes and look at it from afar, and you're calling for Coley's head, you got rocks for brains.
That's it. I suppose, like you said, compared to previous form, he's not as good as he could be, but he's still putting up numbers. So you can't. Yeah,
mate, it's like a Ferrari that's got a few miles on it. It's not running. It's not running as well as it was straight out of the shop. But mate, it's still a fucking Ferrari.
Yes. So I guess to finish this point up, add us in the comment section. Let us know. Should Coley be dropped or should he be kept? And let us know your thoughts and perspectives.
I imagine that's one-way traffic.
Well, we'll see. We'll let the fans decide. And I think that'll do us for cricket this week.
Congrats to New Zealand.
Yes, big congrats to New Zealand.
Rugby league.
Yeah, rugby league. And I think let's start with the news. Let's run through the news we've got, and then we'll get into the State of Origin, which is coming up on Sunday.
Yep.
Let's start with what is, I think, becoming a recurring segment on the show, the Brisbane Broncos. And
the shit show.
The shit show. They are shit.
But not just that, like Canterbury shit, but no one wants to really talk about Canterbury that much.
Yeah, I think it's because they're, Brisbane is like the Collingwood Pies. They're their premier. Them and the Roosters are the two big teams.
Yeah, throw the South in there. But in terms of fan base and
massive,
and where you can take South and even the Chooks away, is that this is the first time in my lifetime, this is the first time in the club's history that they've been bad back-to-back years.
Yes.
Obviously, they won their first spoon last year. And that had never happened. And now they're really staring down the barrel of back-to-back spoons. What's going on up there at Red Hill?
Well, a lot of movement. So, who'd they play last week?
South.
Yeah, exactly. We watched it.
46 zip.
Yeah, they got pumped. Yeah. So Pangai Jr. came in the post-match interview on the field while in his full gear. He was like, "Yeah, I've been told to look elsewhere. I'm talking to other clubs." So massive news. And then it came out during the week that anywhere from 8 to 12 players are probably going to get moved on as well. So big roster shuffle happening for that list in Brisbane.
Not just a shuffle, they're clearing out house.
Yeah, well, that then followed in from that loss. They then booted out two of their primary front office guys.
Staff dudes.
Staff dudes, yeah. That's just,
the official
employees.
Employees, there we go.
GM of football operations, Peter Nolan.
Yeah, Peter Nolan being the big one.
And that's a job that Ben Ikin's going to do?
Which is then the news that happened later in the week. Ben Ikin has actually got that job. He interviewed for the CEO job and missed out. And then, of course, went to, how do you say Dave's last name? Donaghy from Melbourne Storm.
Yep.
So he's been there. He had that whole legal thing. He's only been there a couple months.
Right.
Because the Storm didn't want to release him and they had the whole conflict of interest and then
non-compete
non-compete, that was the one. So
legal shit.
Yeah, legal shit. So
we're stuffed the day that the On The Esky's got legal shit.
Please don't sue us. we don't want to have to pay for lawyers.
We also got no money.
yeah, that too.
It's not that we don't want to, it's we can't.
Yeah. We've got kidneys, but we would like to keep them.
Yeah, what do you want, 20 grand?
Peter Nolan gets booted. Ben Ikin comes in. He's going to work with Dave and Kevin Walters, who's the current coach. We've got the note there. Is Kevin the man for the job? It seems to be, with that, what the guys they've got there, the senior management, then with the board, that's what they want to put together. And they wanted to add someone of Benny Ikin's caliber, who's, yes, he's been on NRL 360 for donkey's years.
Nearly 10 years.
Yeah, but he knows the game inside and out. Yep. He is also a former player and a legend of the club.
Yep.
And he's an excellent he's super knowledgeable about the game.
He's an intelligent human being as well. You can tell that from when you're watching 360.
Yeah, compared to the other flogs across the desk, he's definitely the intelligent one.
I'll tell you who could have got shouted a beer. NRL 360 because they've lost about 98% of their brain cells.
Yeah, they can borrow a few of ours and they might get to 96%. But yeah,
I don't know who gets the job there, but I think he will be really good for Brisbane and
probably bring some of that culture back. And they always talk about the old boys up there, and
they never used to be. They never used to lose. Like you talk about the Broncos in the late 90s. What they win four in the 90s and 2 in the early noughties, but now it's the last one that they won was 06.
Yeah, so they made the grand final, of course, with Hunt and Milford playing the 6 and 7.
That was the Hunt drop ball kickoff.
Bingo.
Off the kickoff.
Yeah, against the Cowboys. So, and then when was that? That was 2015 or 14?
15.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
But I think that was the end of Anthony Griffin's. And then they had Wayne Bennett, his tenure.
Yep.
And I think I saw something from him leaving.
Well, and they made the finals, yeah. The Fox League posted.
Yeah. There's Tony Staggs is the only player left at Brisbane now that was from the team that was there when Wayne Bennett was there.
Well, and Pangai Jr., who's given his marching orders.
Yes.
And Matt Lodge,
he's also been given his marching orders.
Not officially, but...
They want him gone. So,
So that team, I've got it here. Boyd retired. Corey Oates dropped. Jimmy the Jet at West Tigers. Kahu dropped. Asako dropped. Milford dropped. Cody Nikorima at the Warriors. We spoke about Lodge. McCulloch at the Dragons. Thaiday retired. Pangai Jr. Getting his marching orders. Fafita at the Titans. Maguire at the Dragons. And then, Katoni Staggs, essentially, the only and he was on the bench with Corbin Sims, Joe Offa, Hengawi, and Patrick Muggo. That was
all gone.
so literally from that side, Katoni Staggs is the only person left. That was against the Dragons in 2018. They this one got we won it. We won an elimination final. It was only that far ago.
And it talks to the
complete roster turnaround in 2.5 years is massive.
Which probably also talks for the reason why they suck at the moment. They're super young and they're just kind of churning guys in to trying to find what works for them. So I think the plan, bringing in an Adam Reynolds, veteran guy that won a comp, can play 7.
He'll be massive for them.
Well, huge for them. If they can get someone like Josh Hodgson from the Raiders to play hooker, again, experienced guy, hasn't won a premiership here. I think he won a couple when he was in England, Super League. So he's
might be able to get that.
But also a guy, veteran, who's played a lot of player football.
Mate, he was a 6 again, away from winning one with the Raiders.
They were very, very close.
But a lot of it's going to come down to who they can get next year. It's this year is done. It's them and the Dogs for the spoon.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I think all his plays in there, Kevy's hand as well. Like he can say rebuild.
Yeah, and hope
he's safe.
He gets a freebie for a year.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, because I was having a look at his coaching record. Obviously, this is the first time that he's coached in the NRL. So at Catalans, his record over there was 21-36. So he only won 37% of his games over there. So his career record as a coach, 33% win percentage.
He did. Now, he was a long-term assistant at Melbourne, and they won a lot of games.
Big time.
They got a guy named Craig Bellamy there that helps.
That definitely helps. That definitely helps. And also coached Queensland to 12 games.
Yes.
And I tend to agree with you. I think
they only won one of those 3 series too. So
the magic of the internet will help us.
That's 30 16%. So
16 to 2019. So 19 they lost, 18 they lost.
Yes.
So.
Oh no. So yes.
So 1-2.
1-2. Yeah. So
I think he might have the support of the board for now. It seems, and they're going, okay, let's clear out house.
They don't have the players he wants, and he wants to bring in his guys as new head coaches usually want to do. They need to get their guys in there.
Yeah.
So maybe they take a year or two to rebuild. But the NRL doesn't have a draft system, so you got to go to your feet,
recruitment and
go to your feeder clubs, find your young blokes, and then sign the veterans you can.
And it's been well publicised them losing guys like Sam Walker and Reece Walsh. Like if they're there, yes, they're only 18, but you're starting to go, okay, well, these guys are going to play a lot of first grade. The the morale might be a bit higher than it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm glad you said before that they're like the Collingwood of the NRL, and Mako, who's not here tonight on the podcast with us, he talks about the Collingwood amplifier. It's like a loudspeaker. If it's going on at the Gold Coast Suns, no one
gives a fuck.
No one gives a fuck. Because it's Collingwood, because it's Brisbane.
Yeah.
And up there, the Courier, whatever.
Well, for a long time, Brisbane equaled Queensland too, and then they all love Queensland State of Origin.
No, Broncos playing for the Maroons this week.
Yep, there you go. So
0.
Yeah, so
0.
Massive.
Their one Origin player is Payne Haas this weekend, who plays for the Blues. Mm-hmm. That would have never happened. Sure, I'm confident. Don't even look that shit up.
Yeah,
it has to be the first game that the Broncos have never had a Queensland Origin player.
Yeah.
I don't think Josh Hodgson has got any silverware.
There you go.
There you go.
And also born the day after I was born.
Oh, shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out. The actual day.
Actual day, actual year, yeah.
Yeah, right.
There you go.
Your hair's doing a lot better.
I was going to make the exact same joke.
A little bit longer.
How many games did he play over in England?
So he played.
261?
He played a lot.
Sorry,
Yeah,
that's
sorry.
total. That's total.
Okay.
136 with
136.
Hull and Hull Rovers.
Yeah.
Still a lot.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Moving on. So the next big story, and we've been covering the high tackles and the
Bring him up.
high contact and the like. We've been worried about the milking the last couple of weeks. Now the chat's kind of switched to the is NRL taking the piss with some of these sin bins. So there's been a lot of what would you call it? Incidental, like impactful contact, but it's been incidental, like guys falling down, or he's been tripped, or he's really really low to the ground. Is like, what can you do in some of these situations?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
No, we spoke about that one last week when Corey Harawira got tripped up, and he went straight into
a dude's shoulder.
who was that? We spoke about it at length. We'll have to. Anyways, the ones from this week. The ones from this week was.
I prefer to forget some of this shit. So
Well, let's talk about it, and then let's hopefully have a few of these and we'll forget about it.
yes.
Months play, if you will, Friday night. The two biggest piss takes were Friday night. The first one from the Sharks Cowboys game, Reece Robson on Aiden Tolman. There is 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in the game. Cronulla are trying to truck the ball out of their own goal line.
Well, they're trying to slow it down as well. So
Yeah.
milking. Sorry.
Look, that's hard contact with his head. Yeah, but but Tolman's pretty much,
He's half a metre off the ground.
mate, he's dived into the tackle. Like, how high is his head off the ground? His head's 3 feet off the ground.
Well, he's in line with the bloke's
Hip.
waist. Yeah.
Hip, yeah.
So
Robson,
it's-
can't get any lower to
What
make
the
an effective
fuck are
tackle.
you meant to do in that situation?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. And we often speak about it. Oh, that one in the Raiders Brisbane game didn't affect the player. It didn't affect the outcome, I should say.
This one did.
This one affects the game.
Yeah.
There's 2 minutes left. You're down 2 points, and then you've got to go a man down up the other end of the field. There's a lot of people up there at Townsville that thought they got robbed in this game. I think fucking fair enough.
And I think the ref as well as part of this was just like, mate, I can't do anything else.
They came out and said,
I've been told.
Have you got the article? The NRL said that they made a boo-boo, and good on them for at least coming out and not trying to backtrack.
Yeah.
Like, that cost them the game. Or a chance. A chance at the game, at least.
Yeah.
What have we got there?
It's there.
The bunker's intervention and the decision to send the player to the sin bin wasn't warranted.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good that they can come out and say we fucked up and have the nuts to do it. The fact that it's happening in the first place, mate, looking at that, maybe it's a penalty.
Yeah. Well, looking at it, if they want to push the agenda for, say, more like we want lower tackling form and lower tackling, that's perfect low tackling form. And it's just, again, you're going to have this contact where it's incidental and you guys are going to get whacked in the head. Yes, I'm not a huge fan of high contact and concussions.
The careless swinging arm, malicious intent kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, stand that out. No one's saying that shouldn't be in the game. This incidental falling over, and we'll get to the next one now, the Takiaho and Cleary, falling over or deliberately running very low, it's very, very difficult to tackle a bloke that's at that height.
Exactly. And the NFL's forced themselves into this position where it's just, all forceful head contact results in sin bin, and they've got no other options because, as we talked about, they've implemented this in the middle of the season while having a decent plan where they could have some more options available to them, and the refs knew what was what, and they could say, again, we'll go back to 5 minutes sin bin. And it was like, that's not a great thing. Maybe that's a 5 minute and away you go. So hopefully it's not a huge impact. It wouldn't have helped in this game because
if they brought a 5 minute sin bin in, which I don't mind your idea. I've thought about it in the last few weeks. I don't mind that as an idea. Shout out to Jamie Soward, listener of the show.
Yep.
That shouldn't even be a 5 minute sin bin.
That's probably more like a penalty.
That should just,
you
got him on his head. It's completely incidental. Your intent wasn't bad. He didn't get suspended. They've come out and said it was a fuck up. So, Cowboys fans could probably be dirty about that one. Yeah. Next one, Takiaho on Cleary. So this was in the Roosters-Panthers game later on Friday night. Pissing down rain out there at Bluebet Stadium. Cleary loses his footing. He goes for like a little right foot step. Slides into the right shoulder of Takiaho there.
Well, I'd say it's even more the bicep. And the other thing is his arms are down by his side.
Exactly.
So
his arms down here. It's not
horizontal.
Thank you.
I don't think he was doing. He wasn't doing himself any favors with that tackling technique.
Takiaho.
Yeah. I don't so.
What's he meant to do there?
But there's nothing he can do about that.
I think Monks is kind of talking. He probably needs a bit more wrap as well. Like there's not a full wrap there,
which we'll get into a little bit more with the Ravalaara one. But
it looks like a shoulder charge, but it's still like Cleary's falling over.
You're a 120 kilo prop.
Yeah, who's taught to tackle.
One of the top two players in the NRL is running at you, who is known for taking on the line or has the ability to give an inside ball or a big cutout pass.
Yeah.
I don't see what Takiaho could have done there. And the judiciary agreed. He didn't even get fined.
Yep.
So he gets sin bin. They flipped the entire momentum of the game because the Roosters actually got out to a good start in this one.
Well, they fucked that game. Yep. So and Penrith smoke them. So.
And look, you could say maybe Penrith win by enough that this doesn't change the outcome of the game. But at the time, it's 12-6 Roosters. And whilst Takiaho's in the bin, Panthers go 14-0.
Yep.
Completely flips the game on its head. And like we've spoken about, an injury ravaged, the most black cat walking under a ladder season that you could ever have for the Chooks.
Yeah.
And this shit kind of happens. I think you've got a right to be a little bit dirty about it. Ivan Cleary said it was fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Not in those words, but he didn't think that it was a sin bin.
Would you have called would you have called that like a 5?
Nope.
I'd get a penalty.
I'd give it a penalty. Yeah. But Cleary's lost his footing. You want to protect the head. I get that. But as a player,
I'm happy with that.
Takiaho, to put yourself in his shoes there, his arm is down by his side. It's completely incidental. Accidents fucking happen.
Yeah.
It does.
So it's an interesting point because I want to bring up two other instances because take Ryan Pappenhausen. Still they're not playing.
Yep.
What was the Roosters bloke that punctured his lungs? He's still not playing.
Hutchison.
Yeah. And the other two blokes that did it to them are playing. So
Brown is back. Fuimano is not back, but
has he been back?
I think he's been available. Actually, I think he might have been available because he got 5 weeks for that, and it was Anzac Day.
So there's a thing to weigh up here. I guess because during the game you don't know the consequences. Pappenhausen could be back next week, or he could miss the next 2 months. Like you don't know.
Yeah.
It's a question: is that then a solution more for the judiciary to sort out, or how much penalty do you put on the team? Because, again, you lose Pappenhausen for the game. What do you do with the corresponding bloke on the other side of the field? It's just I think we've talked in the past about the sentence fitting the crime, but I think NRL's just they got themselves so deep in a hole that it's too hard to figure out what equals what and then what's a clear system where you've got some, the proper outcome for whatever the charge is.
Yeah. What you're saying, and forgive me if I've interpreted this wrong, is should the outcome of the victim be taken into account? So Pappenhausen that hasn't played.
Well, yeah. So in this one, Cleary is on the ground for a little bit, but gets straight
Fine,
back up.
yeah,
He's
fine. Play the rest of the
fine.
game.
Yeah.
So at that point, you might be like,
bonus penalty, not a 5 minutes. Whereas,
but you don't know. That's the other thing. Like in 5 minutes, in another minute or two, you might play in the next set, and they go, "Oh, we'll get you off the HIA." They do the HIA,
or he plays the rest of the game, and then they go, "Oh, he's not playing this week."
Yeah, he plays the rest of the game, and then it's like, "Oh, he fractured his jaw, and he's out for the next 2 to 3 weeks while they wait for the heal."
I think
either way, both players play the game, and it's up to the judiciary to work it out.
Yeah. But I think you get yourself in a very slippery slope when you take the outcome of the victim into account.
Yeah, and I guess it's not one size fits all either, because there's so many scenarios we could play. Like we've picked out 2 kind of edge cases with guys that are still injured from their outcomes, where the other guys are getting close to being ready. Brown's already back playing, and then the other bloke coming back very, very soon as well. They might be edge cases. So I don't know.
I think intent has to be the number one thing.
Yeah.
Intent.
Yeah.
When guys are flying in out of the line, like that Herman SASO one, I feel like where he just came in, like was offside, the refs calling him offside, and threw an arm out and just like literally old school took a bloke's head off.
Yeah.
And he gets 3 weeks. Fine. Play on. I think these ones, and the judiciary's agreed with us. It's what's happened is what we're critiquing is the on-field call. The judiciary's agreed with us. Neither of them got suspended.
And the ref only has one option. Well, he's got 2 options, and they're both extreme. It's like 10 minutes or you're off, you're gone. So
but he doesn't. He's got a third option, which is the penalty.
Which is probably not extreme enough, I think, is what they.
But I think it is.
I reckon it is.
In these cases, yes.
In these 2 cases that we're talking about, if you come in and go, you've got him high, the impact is forceful, which it was in both of them.
Yeah.
But we can see your intention.
Mitigating circumstances, penalty.
Yeah. The players slipped into the tackle, essentially. It's a penalty. Stay on. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
Happens again, then we'll have another chat.
So I get
that way. It's not changing the outcome of the game.
Yeah, I agree. I guess my hope coming out of this, and I hate to use this year as a trial, or at least it'll give you a whole bunch of good data points, but it'd be from next year. You've gone away. You've looked at all these. You've got a whole bunch of things that you would consider penalties, a whole bunch of things that you consider sin bins, or even like a 10 and 5 minute if you want to do that. And with the things you consider actual send-offs. And then you've got a barometer there where you can, train. All the players know what it is. All the coaching staff knows it. All the referees really clearly know which is which. And then you can enforce that. Instead of this kind of grey area that we're in the middle of the season where they're trying to fast-track rules for the sake of it.
And to be doing it week by week is ridiculous.
Yes. Yep. It's silly. I can't think of any other major sport that would make rule changes as significant. I think a lot of them wouldn't, because there's so much money involved in them because they're at that point. But they probably got to that point for a good reason.
Yeah, for sure.
And pissing off your entire fan base is probably not one of them.
I think we need to move forward because we could talk about this all night. As a Dragons fan, I'll mention it. We're not going to discuss it. Ravalawa copped 4 weeks for a shoulder charge. You can YouTube the contact there in the Raiders game.
Not his worst one.
8 years ago, you're saying good tackle.
Yeah,
he's got 4 weeks. It's his prize. So you go into the judiciary for the 4th time. You've had 2 suspensions already. You're probably going to cop 4 weeks. That stings as a Dragons fan. Tell you who's not stinging at the moment, Manly fans. Tommy Trbojevic. It was 24-8 at half time against the Titans on Sunday afternoon. He goes out there, scores 3 tries, assists, 3 line break assists. 6 tackle busts, 174 run meters, is by far and away the best player on the paddock again. He missed the first 4 rounds of the year, and I'm going to say it, it's a 2-horse race between him and Cleary for the Dally M.
If he plays the rest of the year.
And he's 4 points behind.
Yeah.
And they stopped counting the votes at round 12, and I looked, he was a long way behind Cleary at that stage. I think since round 12, he must have played 2 or 3 games, Origin dependent, and he's probably been the best in all of those.
I can't think of a match where he didn't score 2 tries at least.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah.
And
he's gone like
leading,
3-2-2-2-3 or something.
And try assists. He's a fullback.
Yeah.
He's a fullback and he's leading the league in try assists.
I don't think there's any doubt at the moment he's the best player in rugby league.
Yep. Yeah, and people have come out and said, like a lot of people have come out and said it, like, and not,
what he's doing at the moment. He's at the peak of his powers. He's in absolute prime.
And it's no knock. It's no knock on a Cleary or on a Munster
or Tedesco.
Or on a Tedesco, the incumbent fullback. Yeah. It's just when a guy's doing this stuff at his size, you're just going, okay.
Sit back and watch.
Yeah, just watch it. This is Hayne playing kind of stuff. Like when he was just, you know.
We don't mention the plane, but keep going.
Shout out to Cooma Prison. But Jared Hayne as a footballer, you know.
I don't think he gets YouTube down there, but we'll keep going.
Famously, he doesn't get Foxtel. You can read about that. Anyways, Jared Hayne as the footballer, and like Greg Inglis when he was just ripping shreds out of size.
Or the classic ones, the Benji, when he ran them through to the grand final. Like, he's just mesmerising.
That's what we're kind of seeing now. We've seen a bloke that didn't play the first month, and his team was the worst team in the NRL and had one of the worst points differences ever, to come out and go, on their day, Manly might beat Penrith or Melbourne. That's where we're at.
Yeah, well, I think we've talked about this before. It's a 4-team race at the moment. Parramatta are pretenders. Manly are the dark horse that could beat any team on the day. It's probably going to be between Penrith and Melbourne. So
that's our thoughts.
That's our thoughts.
And you think South, considering their defensive issues in a few games,
they can score points, but it's
and Roosters had they had a full
healthy squad,
herd of cattle, they might be all right.
Yeah,
tend to agree.
Mm-hmm. Next news,
Chad Townsend.
Yeah, talking about Chad Townsend, we mentioned the whole halves merry-go-round, and it continues here. He's already signed to go to the Cowboys next year. Mm-hmm. So the Sharks are giving him the punt and basically send him down to the feeder club and go play there while we try to work out what we're doing next year. Mm-hmm. But to get some first grade game time, I think the Sharks will let him go. We'll release him from his contract essentially, and he's joined the Warriors to play with them. So I think he will partner. Because Cody
Nikorima. You struggle with this name.
Yeah, Nikorima. I think he's not playing. He's gone back to Brisbane because his missus is about to give birth. Mm-hmm. So I think he could be a replacement. Wouldn't surprise me if Cody comes back to finish the year or not. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's not like New Zealand's going back to New Zealand for a couple of weeks.
No.
So he's in the Central Coast. So he's not too far away from where the family is.
Yep.
But I think it's just an extra addition they can add to their halves, and also for him to get some good game time.
Yeah, and on top of that, Harris Tavita out for the season as well.
Yes.
So great pickup by the Warriors. People sleep on Chad Townsend, so they released the 2021 players poll this week.
Yep.
He's a top 5 halfback according to the players. Mm-hmm. And if you want to listen to anyone, the players are a pretty fucking good place to start.
Yeah.
You know, they're not journos. They're not podcast morons that drink beer and like sport. They're the players. So if they're rating him that highly,
we rate him here. Like he took the Sharks they won a premiership with him. So
exactly right.
And I don't even think he was their favourite half that year. Like
well, that was with SJ.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
it was. Yeah, I'm confident there.
Well,
2016 Sharks, SJ and Townsend. You can look up that song.
No, I think it was a year or two after that. Sean Johnson joined them.
Would you like to skull bet on that?
No, I won't. But I'm pretty sure he was playing for the Warriors at that point.
No,
I think that's only a recent change.
No, I think he won the comp with them.
I don't think so. We'll leave that. Monkey will find us an answer on that. But it's a good get from the Warriors.
Moylan was there. No, Moylan was at Penrith in those days, so it had to be Johnson.
No, I think it's too far away. I'm pretty sure he was playing for the Warriors at that time.
Monks will be able to tell us in a second.
I'm pretty sure Sean Johnson's only been there 3 years at the Warriors.
I think he won the comp there with them.
Just go to the premiership team for that year and you'll get it.
He'll pick it up. Anyways, the Warriors have got a good NRL halfback here.
Good get.
Yeah, for them.
Do you want to talk about the horseman fucking up rugby league more?
Yeah, sure. Sure. Stick to horse racing.
Well, it's come out during the week that what is it? The NRL Commission.
I'm glad I didn't skull bet you then.
Yeah. Don't question the knowledge.
Often the knowledge is not there. You know how you could have found that easier is searching Sean Johnson.
Yeah, Warriors.
Probably.
When he left the Warriors, which I think is probably 2018.
You just search it and then his Wikipedia comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
20,
well off.
Yeah,
I spent about,
2019. I told you he's only been there like 3 years.
Well, I'm a fucking idiot. Maybe I should go.
Yeah, so I can't remember who the other halfback they were.
James Maloney. Are we talking about the 2016 Sharks?
Yes, 2016 Sharks. Who was
Maloney and Townsend?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
No,
See, that's why I went chronological.
And then Maloney went to
That's
Roosters.
why I didn't remember, because Maloney's played for about fucking 38 teams.
Yeah, so Maloney went to Roosters after that.
Yep.
So yeah, they were going back and forth between halfbacks. So
Also-
another good halfback.
Also, Valentine Holmes and Benny Barber were both in the squad.
Jeez, a lot can change in a few years, can't it?
Definitely. Yeah. So back to fucking up rugby league. So
My apologies.
no, it's all right. It's come out during the week because they're considering making changes to the kickoff. So at the moment, the team that scores a try receives the ball.
Yep.
So the other way, it would flip it essentially. So if you concede, you'll get the ball back.
Super League rules.
Super League rules. I don't want to use the NFL comparison, but
It's
how they do it.
NFL. Yep.
yeah, and the reason being, of course, is they're worried about the teams. They're worried about the big score lines, like the 50 to 10 score lines. And it's like, well, they've scored on you and kicking the ball back to them, and then they're scoring on you more. They're trying to. How can we equal out the possession? Is what they're
and that's the
saying.
best way to do it, really.
Yes, it is.
It's also the fucking middle of the season, and you've changed 8,000 rules. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, again, and they now want to change more rules, but to help fix problems they've created from changing other rules. So you're just like, I get the hindsight. Yeah, exactly. So I think, and we talked about it within the last month, the players and that trying to get Volandis out, essentially so they could have a voice at the table, so they could have a seat at the table, so they talk to them about some of these rule changes. Hopefully that will turn into something where they can go, why do you want to make this rule change? How about we try tweaking some of the other things, understanding the outcomes of what they're trying to do before they implement shit before it happens. Otherwise, Flanders might come out next week and just say, oh, yeah, we've changed the kickoff rules.
You know what it is? And it's your jersey that's made me think of this analogy. Cane toads. You know what they brought
historically, yes.
They brought the cane toads over here to look after the beetles in the cane sugar, right?
Yes, to eat all the beetles that were eating the cane sugar.
Yeah. So there was a problem, and you brought in something, and it fucked it up more.
Yeah.
And then the joke is that you introduce snakes to eat the cane toads, and then you fuck it up more, and then you go and get the fucking eagles to go eat the snakes that are eating the toads that is eating the beetles, and you fuck it up more. Like, just leave it alone. This season has been topsy-turvy as it is. There is a massive problem between the elite teams and the bottom teams. Yes. Everyone can see it. It's plain for a casual fan to see it. The way to go about that doesn't come from a knee-jerk rule change.
In the middle of the season.
In the middle of the season. In the middle of a season where you've changed the most rules ever. Just leave it. Just let it be.
There's reasons they have preseason games. That's where you trial shit.
Preseason games. They've got lower competitions. There's Queensland Cup. There's New South Wales Cup.
Trial the stuff. Get the data. Figure out what issues it's going to cause.
Yep.
So that you're not, changing things week to week and then reactionary trying to fix your problems on the fly. It's like that classic, videos of cars that are on fire and it's driving down the highway and some bloke's in the engine bay trying to fix it as it's going along. Yeah. So it's an absolute fucking madhouse.
Double analogy. I like it.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life.
I'll throw something at you.
Listening back to my analogy, I don't think it's going to be that good either, but we'll tell.
Right.
Time will tell.
Let me put this to you. So
I actually think this is a good rule change. I just wouldn't do it now.
Yeah.
I agree.
Have a trial period.
I've never kind of understood why you'd kick the ball back to the team that's just scored points. I guess it's historical, but it's...
Well, you'd expect that they wouldn't.
The team that's got an advantage gets another advantage, so that doesn't make sense to me, is why I think.
Well,
it's 120 years of history.
Yeah, I know. You wouldn't change that for no reason. And to fix the problems you've already caused is probably not a great reason to change it.
And they changed it for the Super League, and how long was that a thing? 1 year.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
I don't think that's your... Oh, yep. You know, you want a triple analogy?
Yeah, let's keep going with analogy.
Fuck it, let's go. We're in deck now. You ever seen that meme? And it's like a big water bottle and it's leaking, and then the guy puts like a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what that shit is.
It's like, a Teflon tape or some shit like that.
Yeah, some
slap that
bullshit,
bitch on.
Like some infomercial that'd be on at 4 o'clock in the morning and you wake up too early, you're waiting for your fucking cheese TV to come on. That's that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Mate, just leave it. Just leave it. We know what this season is. It's a crazy, crazy season. It's unbelievable if you like high-scoring games. It's unbelievable if you want to see blowouts. It's unbelievable if you're a Melbourne Storm fan and you want to see them pump teams 13 plus every week. Yeah. But we know what it is. It's probably Penrith and Melbourne at the end of the year. We don't need to be changing shit.
No, because to continue your analogy is like it's a sieve at the moment, and you don't want to.
It's pissing out.
Yes, it's going out every. Don't want to slapping Band-Aids or left, right, and centre. No. It's not going to help.
All right, 30 seconds or less. Israel Folau.
We're continuing the story that's been covered for months at this point. He's finally got his contract sorted out with Catalans. He's free to play for the Southport Tigers, which are in the Gold Coast. He will start his hopeful career resurrection. We don't think any team's going to pick him up real quick. Maybe Brisbane at the end of the year, where if he has a couple of good games and strings together some good minutes, they might be like, well, fuck it, we got nothing else to do. So
that's what that club needs now. We suck and we're homophobic. It's always going to be a talking point. I'd be very surprised if he ever plays NRL football again. But we'll see what happens there. The Coco's back.
Yeah, and it's probably worth talking about as we lead into State of Origin chat. So for those that don't know, Corona has been a bit of a cluster. I think they're up to 48-ish cases, which is a significant low number compared to a lot of other places.
If any international listeners are here on our NRL State of Origin preview,
they'll be like, that's nothing.
48 cases is for the whole state of New South Wales.
So
double the size of Germany.
So they've been shut down.
Yeah, well, Sydney's kind of had a whole bunch of restrictions put on them, which has then, of course, caused issues for the rugby league players. They've gone into what's called level 3 restrictions, which basically means don't go to a CAF, don't take public transport, wear your mask. There's a whole bunch of mask restrictions as well.
Police finding people and getting in their personal space for not wearing a mask is interesting.
Yes. Getting a bit handsy.
Isn't it? Excuse me, sir. I need to fine you because you're not wearing a mask. Do you know social distancing is the best way to avoid corona?
So, yes.
That would be horrible listening, but if anyone's watching...
It'd be excellent viewing. Please check out the YouTube channel, like and subscribe.
Yeah, all that shit.
But I think the problem, and we're going to take some leaps of faith here, is the numbers are increasing and they're getting more, which may lead to a snap lockdown in Sydney, which then, of course, affects rugby league games. So there's already been chat about the Sydney-based clubs and how they're going to move them and play the games and where they're going to have to sort it out. So there's contingency plans. Luckily this week, no NRL games, so no issue. Next week, maybe a bit of a problem. The following week, when we start talking about State of Origin 3, which is meant to be in Sydney, fingers crossed to that point, touch wood for you boys that there's nothing going on there. But then we start having the conversation about, well, if they're in a lockdown.
And the rest of the season, is it going to be bubbles?
Yeah, the rest of the season.
Akin to the AFL last year.
Well, Melbourne played in Brisbane for predominantly the whole season last year. Do they then try to move Sydney clubs north-ish or...
I'm optimistic. I think Gladys is taking the most American approach to this.
Yes.
I
think historically, though, you've been the most optimistic and then also the most wrong in all these situations where you're like, it'll happen, no, too much money. And then it's just like, it gets fucked and you're just like, oh.
Sounds like my punting career. Normally very optimistic and look and read as much as I can. It just goes to shit.
Yeah.
Next weekend, let's talk about. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess
9 days away.
Before we get to that, so my final leap of faith will follow the bouncing ball. Essentially, was if you can't play rugby league in Sydney, and if they're going to play rugby league in no crowds, they probably want to move State of Origin. And then does that mean you have the whole entire series in Queensland? Which would be ridiculous, especially if New South Wales wins all 3 games.
I was going to say, it doesn't matter. It's going to be a whitewash.
I reckon with that team, and I don't want to put any hoodoos on them, or any On The Esky curses.
Please do it. Keep going. Get it out. Put it into the ether for me.
I think they win 3-0.
And there it is. So they'll lose next week.
We'll get to that in a second.
They can still win 2-1 and
they could. They could.
True. They need to go back to Townsville. So
went fine last time. I'm hoping, the mainstream media, double-digit cases in a day. Oh, wow.
We're talking about 6, 10, 16 in the last 3 days. So that's the kind of numbers. So, 16, 24 to 30, and then they start having, and then lockdown.
Yep.
So hopefully, I think what did Melbourne do? They probably like a 3-week turnaround? Was it 2 weeks?
This most recent
the
one?
Most recent
yeah,
one.
close to a month.
Yeah,
close to a month. But last year, they were in a 100-day lockdown.
Yeah.
So that would be a massive, massive effect on the league.
I don't think it gets to that kind of level. I'm using the Melbourne as the comparison.
Yep.
Melbourne went into a hard lockdown as well.
And very quickly.
Yeah.
But even say that, like, a month will really fuck up the rugby league calendar. Let's put it that way. And, State of Origin does fall within the next month, the third game that being. So...
Touch wood. Jesus Allah Buddha, I love you all. Hopefully it gets sorted. Yes. Let's talk about State of Origin and not the Coco.
Yes, let's get stuck into Game 2, Sunday
night.
Suncorp.
Yep. Yeah, Suncorp. Unusual, the Sunday fixture, something they've trialled a little bit in the recent future.
It's also a set bye week.
More recent past, my apologies.
Yes. I think it's also a bye week as well. So they've, there's no Wednesday and then back up, having the back on the weekend, all games being played. So it's a dedicated bye round for State of Origin.
And I like that it's game 2. I kind of think, you could do it for game 3, but then if it's a dead rubber and it's a bye round, everyone's kind of like, So I think it's smart doing it like this.
What are we? We just passed the midpoint of the season as well.
Essentially, essentially. One change for New South Wales is just Angus Crichton comes into the side. He was suspended for game 1, being one of the form edge back rowers in the league this year for the Chooks. Jake Trebojevic is out with a hip flexor injury. I believe he sustained that at training, poor fella. And Dale Finucane, the bigger bomber, he comes into the squad, most likely doesn't play. So New South Wales, other than that one change, will be essentially the same side that lined up there in Townsville.
I'd pick Finucane over Sims, but after what Sims did in game 1, I think it's fair to keep him in there.
Again, and I said it before game 1, I think he's built for Origin, and I'm wearing my Dragons hat and I watch him every week, and maybe I don't.
Yeah,
maybe I'm not the person to ask, but he's just big and aggressive, and yes, he does occasionally make these errors where you're like, man, like
that against the Raiders game, like he was solid, but not spectacular. But
he was
so good in Origin.
No denying he was good in Origin.
So maybe he's the gag guy of New South Wales. So
I was going to say, I like that.
I'm happy to pick him there. Purely on form and what they're doing for either club, I think Finucane's an excellent, super underrated, honestly.
And even if he doesn't play, his leadership and
being around camp,
and the experience that he brings to that side, he doesn't have to suit up. On Sunday night, I think just having him in that camp is big for those young New South Wales players. The Queensland side, on the other hand, a multitude of changes.
Yeah, had to make some changes. So Papa Lili comes back in, record as expected. He had a suspension for game 1. The big change at hooker, no Harry Grant, no Reid Marnie. So Andrew McCulloch comes in. Interesting enough, it's his 14th season and his second series would be. He's only played one series. I can't believe how old he is, honestly. Like how many seasons of NRL he's played.
Well, he doesn't play like he's old and busted up, but I guess you kind of have to think Cameron Smith the way that he was able to play that position, which is a difficult position. Like often leads the team in tackles.
Yeah, but it's just 14 seasons. That's essentially he started after Brisbane won the comp in 06. Like it's
08, 13th this year.
13th this year. Yeah. So it's
but he's played 285 first grade games. Yeah, unbelievable. But
we
talk about Stuart McGill.
True.
If it's any other era, maybe he does have 30 origins, or maybe he does have 20 origins. But when there's a guy called Cameron Smith there,
true,
pretty difficult.
But, Andrews, again, he's another one of those really, really solid players. He's not as explosive and X-factory as what Harry Grant is.
Of course not.
But he'll do a good job, I'd say, for there.
And defensively, I think he's strong.
Yeah, and he's got his partner in crime in Ben Hunt, who he's playing, will be 14 and kind of specialises as a 14 for Queensland. So you'll get some spell there, which I think is good because, I think Harry Grant was a bit underdone in the game one and then having to see how they go, trying to manage the minutes for the hookers really didn't work out in that first game.
Not at all. Francis Mollo makes his Origin debut from the Gold Coast Titans. Again, one of those kind of bigger-bodied, aggressive kind of guys. I haven't seen too much of him. I can't say hand on heart that I watch every minute of the Gold Coast Titans. Be interesting to see what he brings to the side.
Yeah, well, little brother getting bigger brother at this point. So
yeah, big time. Fafita goes back to the bench. And Mulitalo and Cohen Hess called into the squad.
Yeah, so
the big one.
Well, to finish up the forward pack, so Tino goes back to play lock. He was playing prop in the first game. Welsh hopefully will be good for this. I think he's been all right so far since his concussion in game one.
And in the modern game, going back to Tino, it doesn't seem like there's that much difference between lock and prop. Like we saw Jake Trebojevic playing as a quote-unquote prop in the last game.
But I think it's
like you're a middle forward.
I think it's a much-needed size for Queensland because they were definitely undersized compared to Haas and Paulo on the other side of the field for game one. So whether that laid such a great platform for New South Wales, and that's why they dominated so much because they couldn't get into that grind because they were missing that kind of firepower up front. Papalili will do a good job. That's what makes me think this game will probably be more competitive is the forward backs, both healthy and both in there, will be more competitive contests, which hopefully will bring it closer.
Sure.
But as you alluded to, the back line. So Reece Walsh gets his Guernsey at fullback to come in. I was on the bandwagon that I didn't want Valentino Holmes to play fullback. I'm just not a huge fan of his defensive play, and he's been found out in the 2 Origin games he's played at fullback that he's maybe not the greatest defender at fullback, especially when they're under the pump and they're leaking tries.
Yes.
So the hope was Ponga, still injured. Hope was Brimson, injured. Then you start thinking about, well, if we want to put Holmes on the wing, who we've got left to play fullback?
Well, if that's your decision that you don't want Holmes playing fullback, it has to be Reece Walsh.
Yeah, well, who's the hottest product out of Queensland that's playing fullback at the moment? It's Walsh.
Couldn't tell you. Yeah, outside of Walsh, couldn't tell you.
Yeah, exactly. So, he's the media all week's been about. And when I say media, I'm talking about New South Wales legends in Sydney because that's predominantly what the media is that we get down here. Getting stuck into Queensland about you can't do that. You've thrown Lamb to the wolves. He's going to get slaughtered, etc.
He's not experienced enough. He's too young. He's too small.
He's played 2 months.
He's too good looking.
Yeah, there is that.
He's good looking, Rooster.
Yeah. So he's had almost 2 months worth of footy. He's played 7 games. Which is still more than Ben Ikin, and we talked about how much of a club legend he was for Brisbane at the start of the show.
And played 17 Origins.
And he played 17 Origins.
I'm glad that you bring that up because I think it was Fox League was brought to light other guys that made inexperienced Origin debuts. One of the fellas is playing Payne Haas.
Hypocrites.
So he only played 10 games before he got picked to play for New South Wales. He's only 21 and he's playing 6 Origin. Hard to use him as a barometer, but I'd like to mention some other guys.
Yep.
Brad Fittler, 12 games, selected to play his first Origin.
All time.
After 12 games, he played 31 Origins. Trent Barrett, 12 games also. He played 11 Origins, 295 first grade games. Brent Tate, he got picked after 14 games in the centres. Played 23 Origins, was part of that Queensland dynasty, the 8 in a row. And Matt Scott, also part of that 8 in a row dynasty, got picked after 14 first grade games. He played 22 Origins.
It's a good list to be on.
The proof's in the pudding right there.
If you're good enough, you're good enough. If you know.
If you're good enough, you're old enough.
Yep.
Reece Walsh is a young, brilliant fullback that has a long career ahead of him in the NRL. And if anything, like if we're looking back at that past and we're taking any kind of note out of it, is that he should play multiple Origin games and hundreds of first grade games. This kind of rhetoric that he's too young and too small, yes, I can see it. I can't imagine being an 18-year-old playing Origin and the pressure and the expectation and the number of eyeballs. But it's what he's wanted to do since he was a fucking little kid.
Exactly. And then you also look at the age and the veteran talent that's in that team. Like DCE's in there, he's won a premiership.
Yes.
We're just talking about McCullough. He's played 14 seasons.
Yep.
Parley's been there for ages.
Yep.
Welsh has won.
Ben Hunt.
Munster. They've all won comps.
Yep.
So, there's...
That guy.
Yeah, exactly. And, and you want to add X factor to that team, and Welsh probably brings in that X factor. He's probably not going to be asked to do a heap, you'd think, as he's not going to be running around and leading them around or anything. But still, he just needs to pop up in the right moments.
In terms of leadership, you're right, but you're still fullback. Look, you have to, by wearing that number 1, you have to do a heap. I, as a New South Wales fan, I would obviously want the Blues to win, but I want him to have a good game and kind of silence these critics that are saying that he's
exactly
too young.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. I wouldn't surprise me if he comes out and has an absolute flyer in this game. And, my pick for this game was, say, like a 20-18 scoreline, which I think is one of my favourite scorelines to throw out.
Yeah, you love throwing that one.
But it's it's a low-scoring, gritty game, which is only a point or two in it. Yep. And at Suncorp, with that home crowd, that may be enough to put him over to Queensland to steal this game.
Well, what about New South Wales' record at Suncorp? 2 of the last 12 games they've won.
Yep.
And Freddie, as a coach, hasn't won there.
Yeah. And Queensland's overall record, I think, 65% at Suncorp.
So a very, very tall order. Unfortunately for you and for Queensland, if my expertise means anything, which it doesn't, from what I saw in Townsville and that back 7 and Luai and Cleary aside, any back 5 that's got Teddy,
you got the best player in the game,
Tommy Turbo, Latrell, and then on the wings with and the Fox, 2 of the best finishers in the game.
Yeah.
Maybe I've got me blue glasses on, but fucking good luck.
Yeah. And as I mentioned before, maybe it comes with that forward pack, that platform. They grind it out, so then maybe it takes some of those backs out of the game a little bit. So it is more of a low-scoring contest and a defensive battle. Time will tell. We'll find out.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. Sunday.
So you're confident? You honestly believe they can win this game? Well, kind of fingers crossed hoping.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fingers crossed hoping. It's like you add in, it's at Suncorp. They've got some good talent there. It's not the worst Queensland team that's ever put together.
That was last year.
That was last year, and they won the series. We're still talking about the 26 best players in the comp playing in State of Origin.
34,
or if you include the reserves. Yeah, so it's still going to be a high quality contest. I think Queensland will be fired up. Would have learnt a lot from game 1. Will make this a lot closer contest. So that's why I think maybe they can sneak this one, and they're probably going to lose. They won't win in Sydney. If it's in Sydney, I don't think they win. I'm fingers crossed for not for the COVID, but for the lockdown. So they have to play game 3 in Queensland. So it gives us a chance. Then I need a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah.
I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying to leave my heart out of it. I think New South Wales on paper are way too good.
Yeah. New South Wales, yeah. If there is one game that Queensland can win, it's going to be this game. I don't see him.
What do Queensland's love being? Underdogs. So
Queensland.
We'll see. We'll talk about this next week.
Yeah. How good. Jeez, there's a lot going on in the world of sport, which is why we should jump across it to the AFL.
Yeah, let's tackle some AFL.
And we'll stay in Queensland. The Brisbane Lions currently lead the Geelong Cats 57-23 at halftime. Hand on heart, let's do some tips.
I picked Brisbane.
I'm sure you would have, given that you go for them. I tipped the Cats, so this is a little bit surprising for mine. Still a lot of footy to go, mates.
Yeah, I had Cats as well, so a little bit concerning at the moment.
So and a rematch of that round 2 game where it went down to a kick. I think it was Zach Bailey that got denied that free kick at the death, which
should have been.
Could have given Brisbane the go-ahead goal.
Yep.
Way back in round 2, this year is flying, and a lot of animosity in that game. That was the Chris Scott barking at the Brisbane Lions players.
Third quarter time.
Bit of back and forth there with big Oscar McInerney and Harris Andrews.
There's been plenty of push and shove on this one.
Yeah.
There has.
And we're talking about the Paddy Dangerfield with the baby oil on the biceps,
Grease me up,
looking all nice. And Harris Andrews just walked over and rubbed his arms, get him some baby oil for himself. You need a bit of that.
I'm not sure if that's a tactic to avoid potential Lions tacklers or attract female
female viewers.
Or male.
Depends on which way you swing it.
Vision of it, because I've never seen a more greasy Patrick Dangerfield.
As long as he doesn't get any of that on his hands, he'd be all right.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got the grippo in the hands and the grease on the shoulders. But reminiscent of Willie the groundskeeper there, crawling through aircon dust, covered in grease.
Mark, can you grab some stats for this game? So before we saw Lachie Neale having some issues with shoulder, it looked dislocated, honestly.
It looked out. Yeah, it did.
Yeah. But he's
poor bloke.
Yeah, but he's played on. I wonder if they've just popped it straight back in. He's on, I'm good, because they haven't even strapped it. So
but didn't he play on when he did the syndesmosis? That
wouldn't surprise me.
So there's something that we can all agree on, is that he's a tough see you next
motherfucker.
Tuesday.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
So, and the other news, and that's why I asked you to get some, well, not news, but some stats. How's Charlie Cameron doing? Because Brisbane haven't been kicking overly well, I think, at this point. So they've had a lot of really good opportunities. They should be further in front than the 58-23 they currently are.
It's only 8 goals, 10.
Yes.
But are you saying there's been missed opportunities inside 50?
I've seen Charlie at least take 2 shots from probably about 30 out and miss both.
Okay. Yeah, so he's got 2 goals, 3 behinds.
Yeah, so, man, Charlie could be on an absolute flyer if he...
Yeah, maybe not foot on the throat kind of stuff, but I'll tell you what, when you're 8 goals, 10, it's not the worst.
And getting unlucky probably doesn't help too.
Have just hit the post there. Dan Rich there. Doesn't mind creeping forward for a sneaky Galazzo, Daniel Rich.
They seem to be heavily on top on this because...
All over him. And again, this is the Lions, isn't it? Regular season, they go out there and they'll really stick it to a Geelong or a Richmond, and then...
I'm actually kind of
few years come finals like this. I'm pretty sure Geelong played Brisbane last year, didn't they?
Yep.
To knock them out and and really pantsed them. So it will be interesting to see if this Brisbane Lions team is the one that rocks up in September.
Well, I'm really happy that they didn't start the season red hot, so they've had to come grind into the season.
Yep.
So
and robbed essentially in round 2.
Yeah,
a few other close losses.
Exactly. So their first 5 weeks weren't real great, and they've come real hot since then, and sort of worked their way into the season. Brought on some of the young guys that are starting to fire, which is kind of what you want to hit your form sort of mid-season, and then hopefully ride those curtails into the finals, and not drop off when you hit that point. So you don't want to hit that wall. So it's all about making your run and timing your run right. So you look at Richmond; they're classic kind of leave their run till later in the year. Make sure you get a good position in the finals, and then go deep. So it's getting healthy at the right time, getting into form at the right time really, really counts as well.
So they started 1-3, and since then they've lost 1 game to the Melbourne Demons, who are first.
Yes.
Yep.
And they've been pretty clinical against some of the lower sides. So
yeah, had a bit of a bumpy game last week, but we should have thought of this. It was in Tasmania and it was pissing down rain. So
what did I say? I asked you. I said, "Is this a danger game?"
I said, "I don't think it's a danger game." But I completely forgot about the weather.
The weather,
put it
the ruse in the weather.
The ruse in the weather. So made it a lot closer. In the end, they did go ahead by about 20 points. So. They got the job done, but It wasn't the prettiest. No, it wasn't the 100-point drubbing that we all expected
sometimes
it to be.
Sometimes like me in a par 4, just really thin the fuck out of it, end up a little bit short of the green, come out and play some kind of stupid chip shot, 2-putt 4. Yep, okay, pretty. To my handicap, we'll take that. Thank you. On to the next one. Not the prettiest job, but they got the 4 points. Yes. Last week, Geelong, Western Bulldogs. Gary Rowan, one of the games of the year.
Paul Macca.
Every week, and Paul Macca, he's not here, which is good, so this should be quick. I actually imagine if he was here, it'd be quick too because they lost.
Yeah. Well, there was crowds at this game, so this game counted.
Yeah. Well, it was 30% crowds.
There was people there, so it counted.
30% counted. Shout out to you, Joseph. I'm sure you're listening along. Mate, as a neutral, one of the games of the year, Gary Rowan putting it through after the siren, a kick that sort of started on the right post and edged its way back through the big ones. One of the big talking points that kind of soured the loss a little bit was the Joel Selwood incidents. There was two. Probably the worst look for him was the head rub slash
closed fist
punch to the back of Marcus Bontempelli's head. As a 300 gamer, what do you think's going through his head when he's trying to do that? I get you trying to be tough. I get you want to niggle. Is that too much?
It depends. I wouldn't surprise me if it's frustration. So it was just...
Does frustration excuse that kind of behavior?
No, it doesn't excuse it. It's just like what leads to that kind of behavior for me is frustration, as in maybe not having your greatest game. It's really, really close. The other dude's been niggling you heaps. It's the classic brain snaps, as people kind of say, like, hey, I'm going to get one back on you. Here's a little cheeky head rab and, maybe no one's watching. Here's a quick one.
Yep.
But,
But
there's plenty of cameras.
The problem is, and I'm glad you said it, with the amount of cameras there, you can't get away with that shit. And he went twice. That was the thing. If he went once, maybe it goes under the radar.
Like the old Barry Hall.
Again, it's very different to Barry Hall.
He thought everyone would miss that and be like, oh, no, so it is.
He was throwing right hooks that were breaking blokes' jaws.
Yes.
This quite different, but very the same in that the intent is to rough up Marcus Bontempelli there, and it's a really bad look. It's a really, really bad look.
It's good to be bringing that up because there was some note during the week as well about the AFL looking at their rules, because we talked last week about the young bloke from the St Kilda Hawthorn game, I think, from memory.
St Kilda Hawthorn?
I thought it was Hawthorn. It was a week or two ago. But
Adelaide St Kilda?
Maybe it was that game. Yeah, sorry. I'm just trying to remember all the different football games and what notes we're talking about. But the league it was the one that was referred to the judiciary.
David Mackey.
That's the one.
Adelaide St Kilda.
Yes, Adelaide St Kilda. So David Mackey got referred. Bit about nothing, got off, and there was a huge hoopla about what's footy, what's not footy. And then the league came out during the week that, hey, during the off season, we're going to have a look at the rules and maybe try to bring take that stuff out of the game. But then on the flip side, Selwood gets a little fine and a slap on the wrist.
Completely separate incidents. Completely separate incidents.
I get it's pretty separate, but one dude punched a bloke and the other one was incidental contact.
Yep.
You want to try to rule out the incidental contact but then find the bloke that throw punches?
It's the contact that they've taken, the severity. And this comes back to our discussion before regarding the victim. So the bloke that came into contact with David Mackey, he broke his jaw. He's not going to play for 6 weeks. It's high impact. I was defending him. And it's part of the game when the ball is in dispute to throw your body at it as hard as you can. This is completely different because the severity the
severity is a lot lower. It's a grab act. It's a grab act.
It's grubby. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You're not going to knock the bloke out. You're not going to. You're
not that angle. Maybe some downward elbows if you.
John Jones, shout out to you if you're listening. Look, it's grubby.
I mean, he does go to punch the ball first, and then his second swing is like at where the ball was, but it was tucked back in.
It's a grub act. I'll say that much.
It's one of the ones where you're like, maybe I'll get away with this.
It's not that bad.
No.
It's not that bad.
It's not Barry Hall bad.
No.
I'll give you that.
Would I, if the AFL came out and said we're going to say that no player is
close fist punching?
No, is above the law.
Yeah.
Because if this is a 20 gamer, that it's a different story. The fact that it's Joel Selwood and he's played 330
makes it a big news story.
AFL games, but also aside from the news, maybe the AFL does treat it a little bit differently. Maybe he is above the law there. Maybe he is a protected species. I just don't know what's going through his head there. And again, it's quick. And we're not elite athletes.
Yeah,
but it's not a good look. It's not a good look.
No, it doesn't look good.
And it does. We did mention how good the game was and how good it was for the neutral viewer, but then we've spent more time talking about this.
Everyone talked about this. It's all anyone talked about all week.
So
the one thing I wanted to say and that I really did like with the AFL's announcement that, hey, we might look at rule changes was they were going to look at rule changes after the season. So as a direct comparison, I was like, at least they understand that, yes, let's not make changes mid-season.
I hope Volandis has got Gillan McLaughlin on his favourites list. Give him a call. He might learn a thing.
Monks, can you scroll up to the news, please?
Pies. We haven't spoken about it.
Mm-hmm.
So
we need the
Collingwood Amplifier.
Yes, the segment, the pie segment.
So Nathan Buckley, well publicised his departure from the club. Robert Harvey is the interim coach there. He will coach his first AFL game this weekend. Michael Voss, his name has been thrown into the mix.
Another one.
Amongst Ross Lyon, maybe Alistair Clarkson if he wants to leave Hawthorn or retire.
I think at this point, every big name assistant that's at a club that's doing well is had their hat thrown into the ring and was like, hey, they might be looking at him.
Sam Mitchell,
of course they're going to be
Box
looking
Hill
at this
Hawks VFL coach. It's too early. Maybe Robert Harvey goes out and coaches really well at the end of the year and he gets a job.
Yeah, well, they won the last game for Bucks. Can they win? Puts together some couple of games and get away from the spoon.
They're not that bad. They've had a few close losses as well.
Yeah, they've got a good list.
They're not a top 8 side, obviously, this year, but I don't think they're as bad as that 4-9 record suggests.
Yeah, well, I'd say if they can get hot, that would be good. If they can, say, from here on out, stay at that 500 number, that's really a good showing of where the team's probably at. Like, yeah, we've got some talent here we can build around. If they suck from here on out, that's not the coach's problem. There's talent issues there at the club, which we don't think is the case, which maybe then leads to more culture, but we'll see at the end of the season when we review how that went.
Looking at their list, and we've mentioned it before on the Esky, the thing that they probably lack is a good tall key forward, and Darcy Cameron's coming along excellently. When Brodie Grundy is back later this year, and he plays the full forward role, I think their back six and their mids are solid.
Well, they did lose Darcy Moore, who's done for the year. So
yeah, that's massive.
That's huge.
Like we were talking early on in the year as a possible All-Australian. Maybe in the last few weeks might have dropped out of that conversation, but one of the best intercept markers and key tools getting around, and with Brodie Grundy out for a while, that's two of their tall, long-haired yahoos, really good football players out of the equation. I
wait and see.
This season's done.
They're not making that.
We'll see what they can do with the
put a line through them. Let's see what they do.
And does Robert Harvey put his hand up and get the job, or do they bring in a big name from somewhere else, like a Voss or a Ross Lyon, or possibly an Alistair
It wouldn't
Clarkson?
surprise me if he even if he does well, just knowing the club, Collingwood Pies being the big club, they'd want to bring in a big name just to not to keep that figure in that face, but it's just and the marketability of the club. That's also and part of it. They got to bums in seats, people watching, people clicking on things, and that's how they make their money. So
yep.
Michael Voss, for example, that's a big name you can put in there that everyone knows about
for sure. Let's move into the rest of the games upcoming.
And speaking of the games, they're looking at fans. So up to some of the
25,000
allowed at some of the grounds. They're hoping for 85,000 next week. 85%. Sorry. Yes.
So which at the G is about 85,000. Quick math.
Which is great for the Melbourneians, being able to coming out of their short lockdown, getting there. It's good. Crowds at footy. Crowds at sport in general. From no crowds to crowds, it's such a different atmosphere and such a different game. It really impacts it and really brings out the beauty in the sports.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned it last couple of weeks. Like, it just seemed dead watching
it's
AFL games
different,
with no
isn't it?
crowds.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so weird. Yeah, so good to see him.
You can hear the
Get back in
echo of the ball leaving the boot, getting
That's
around.
it.
Yeah, the atmosphere makes for much better viewing. I won't rant here, but what's the difference between 85% and 100%?
Oh, about 25%.
15. Quick, easy joke.
I did.
Oh man, delete this.
Yeah, he's not an accountant.
Oh man,
I didn't have my Excel sheet up.
don't you do maths for a living? Wow. Oh, well,
Not recently.
Live and uncensored here on the Esky.
Oh, you butchered that, Jazz. That was so good.
Oh man. Okay, what I wanted to say was 85%.
Can we start again?
No, we're an hour and a half in. That's it. One take now. One take.
Stuffed off on purpose.
Well, at some of these grounds, maybe that's 5,000-ish people or 5.
You're talking about social distancing and shit. I understand having a 25% crowd. You can easily socially distance there. 50%, okay, that's maybe the upper echelon of getting in people's space. The difference between 85% and 100% is fucking nothing.
Yeah. It might be
15% apparently.
15%.
There you go. Oh, God, I bet you wish you had a time machine.
Yeah. It might have to do more with logistics, as in the amount of people traveling. So that pure number. They'd prefer the 50,000 to the 60,000. The guys having the public transport to drive in and the stuff they do in and around the grounds.
You're making less sense.
No, well, it's purely government looking at numbers and going, I'd prefer this. And
the government not really knowing what they're doing, like throughout this whole thing.
Government in general not knowing how to do anything.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Okay,
we won't get
we can agree.
We won't go into politics, but we agree on that point. There's just like the AFL's playing within the boundaries they've been given. So
you know what? I was having a look at the draw for next week. There's no two big Melburnian clubs playing each other. Maybe this is a way for them to back up and go, oh, this would have been a sellout, but we can only have 85%. We can only have 85%. It's not a Collingwood actually Collingwood and Carlton probably not getting fucking anyone at the moment. But it's not if you would, a Richmond and Melbourne at the moment.
this game.
Yeah, and again, if this is in Brisbane, it's not going to be a sellout anyway because it's Brisbane.
True. It looks like a decent crowd there, though.
It does look.
It actually looks
deceiving
really
at the Gabba. They've got the different coloured seats up there in the third tier, so that's a very clever trick that they've done.
The
But
third tier looks very populated, I will say.
yeah, there are a few.
There's a
of
few
these up
there, but
anyways, maybe about 85%,
they're at 85%. There we go.
which is 15 less than 100. Thank you to the accountant on my left.
I'll take that on note.
Let's run through some footy games and the rest of the round.
Let's talk about footy. Let's get some odds. Let's do some shit tips. Richmond, 7:50 tomorrow night, Friday night football. Play St Kilda. This was a Friday night fixture, I believe, or was it a Thursday night fixture? Back in round 5 that they met. And it was an 86-point win to the Tigers, an absolute drubbing. And it happened during one of our episodes. Both of these teams are coming off the bye. The big question is, can St Kilda at 5 and 8 string together a few wins and push for that top 8?
The answer to that question is no. So
yeah, I tend to agree with you.
Yeah.
From what I've seen, it's been pretty lackluster at times.
You're asking a lot for them. They're going to get real hot real quick, and I doubt it.
And Richmond at the MCG is no easy task. I imagine you boys have tipped the Tigers here. Yep. Tigers here, Tigers here. Amongst the odds, if you would, and a line I'd be interested in.
Yep.
28.
28, you reckon? So last head-to-head was the 15th of April, that Thursday night at Marvel Stadium. The Tigers are favourites, $1.18. St Kilda are out at $4.90 at the moment.
Maybe a little bit shorter.
What did you say that line was?
28.
26 and a half.
Very close.
Yeah, very close.
I think that's pretty safe, to be honest.
Yeah, Richmond by a lot.
Saturday.
Who the fuck cares? Keep going.
So they've got the two games at the same
time.
North Melbourne play Gold Coast in the toilet bowl.
The AFL clearly knows there's like
They know what's up.
Yeah, people are only going to be watching one game, so we'll put the other game at the same time. Who cares?
It's so smart. And I think Robbo was saying on 360 he was upset to see two games staying at the same time. Often games will overlap by about a quarter. They've just gone, these are the two shittest games of the round. Let's put them on the exact same time.
Yeah. Get them out of the way.
There's about 7 people watching the Roos and Suns game.
About the same amount of people that would be at the game.
Yeah, down there in Tassie, I've spoken about it before. They're a different unit down there. They're fucking favourites. This was going to be my smoky. This was going to be my smoky for the week. Was the Kangas to get a win here? But I think the way the Suns have been going, I think the Roos might get this done.
Yeah, I picked the Suns, but now that the Tasmanian Kangaroos is a much different team than the North Melbourne Kangaroos.
Well, they still. I talk about
the cogs were turning. Just give me a minute.
Well, I talk about that they're often turning.
Slowly.
I talk about North Melbourne in Tasmania being like a different side. They're 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 losses. So it's nothing to write home about. But I do.
But they look more competitive.
They're better. They seem to.
But it's also a much lower scoring game, so it makes it look more competitive.
I'm glad that you brought that up. The thing I would be more interested than the odds head-to-head in this is
total points.
Total points, yeah. Monks, if you wouldn't mind.
It wouldn't surprise me if it's 100.
So the Roos are favourites. Give me a second.
$1.71.
Slowly turning. Yep, $1.71 favourites. Suns are out at $2.14. Line
should be close
is 4.5. Total points 160.5.
Smash the unders.
Smash the unders.
Yeah, that's
Big time.
80 aside, quick maths, and a half. Yeah, I like the unders.
Yeah.
There.
Well, last time they went head to head, Suns beat them 98-39.
Yeah, but
that's well under.
Brisbane versus North Melbourne.
That was round 2 as well.
Was 110 in total, roughly around there. If that, like I think it was 60 something to 40 something. Like that's what I thought the scores were.
It was. If you wouldn't mind bearing with me, back in round 2. Brisbane, 68. North Melbourne, 45. That's 103 points there. So
smash the unders. In Tasmania, they don't score points.
I reckon the unders there. Bit of rain forecast as well, I believe, for Victoria. I imagine that goes on to Tasmania. Alas, let's go on into the current game.
Slightly better game.
The slightly better, maybe a few more eyeballs, Collingwood amplifier,
yes.
et cetera, game. The Pies take on the Dockers at Marvel Stadium. It's moved earlier to 1:45, was meant to be the 4:30 game. We'll get into that, why that happened in just a second. Both teams coming off the bye. We've mentioned Darcy Moore and Brodie Grundy out for some considerable length of time here.
Yeah.
I think Collingwood would win this game, and I think they're favourites.
Yeah, I've done the stupid thing and also picked Collingwood.
Any curses?
Yep. Got the curse. I've gone Collingwood. They are favourites, like you mentioned, $1.68. Fremantle out at $2.20.
They'll lose this by 36.
Oh, I don't see them getting spanked by Freo.
They shouldn't.
In Melbourne.
They shouldn't.
And I believe that...
Believe in the curse, though, bro.
Well, I think they're saying that the roof has got to be open for COVID reasons.
What, to let it evaporate out the fucking roof?
I think so.
No, they're going to let it settle in.
Yeah.
Need that fresh air. Blow it all away.
So Collingwood had one of their worst crowds ever a few weeks ago against GWS down there. And that was at the G, and now this is at a wet, COVID-infested Marvel Stadium. Be very interested to see how many people rock up for this one.
Yeah. Be careful of those Sharons in the crowd. So duck, dip and dive.
Duck, the 5 Ds of dodgeball. Port Adelaide City.
Finally, a half decent game.
A good game, I'll say that much. 4:35 Saturday afternoon there at the Adelaide Oval. This was meant to be a night game, moved earlier so the Swans can get on a flight and fly home. The Port Power are coming off a 50-point win over the Gold Coast Suns. Ollie Wines had one of his best nights, and he's a smoky for the Brownlow himself. He had 43 disposals. The Swans had the bye, and the week before had that shock loss to the Hawthorn Hawks. Odds, if you wouldn't mind here, Monks, I imagine Port are fairly short at home, and I have tipped them.
Yeah, same. I've done that. Adelaide, Port and Adelaide.
Yep. Flat check bullies.
Yep. I've gone Port as well. They are favourites, $1.29. Sydney are out at $3.62.
I really like what Sydney are doing and how they're building that club, but
I
don't think this is their year. They're like a year or two away from building to where they need to be.
Young lists.
And it's just like, can they keep some of those veterans and will they have the talent, but also then build those young guys up so they can kind of meet where they need to be, where that window opens for them.
That's right. They've got a few like real close to retirement kind of guys, like a Buddy and a Luke Parker and a Josh Kennedy, but then also, you know, these gun
3 or 4 young
guys like a Chad Warner and the guys that are coming through in this young list. It's that big gap between. I don't think they've got any of those in their prime 26-year-old Bulls.
Yeah, they just got to get those younger guys into their prime as quickly as they can, and hopefully some of those big-name veterans, which will help guide that side around, get that in the same window, in the same time frame, and then they will be dangerous.
Yeah, and if they...
I don't think that's this year, though.
No, and if they can keep, you know, a Chad Warner and a Logan McDonald and Errol Goulden in a few years' time, they probably develop into a premiership there or thereabouts side. Do they go and get a win over there at Crom Oval this weekend? I don't think so.
No, neither. Max?
No. Yeah.
Your tip? And odds?
Haven't we been through this?
Maybe.
Odds, yes. Line.
Give us a line. Finish us off.
We didn't get to the line. So line
I knew it was something. Cogs turning. Tickety tick tock.
Slowly.
We'll get there eventually.
You know, I might fix it another bit.
Sounds like a great idea.
Oh, jeez. The line is 20.5.
I wouldn't be touching that, but I think Port win this game.
Yeah.
Saturday night.
Before you jump into that, Charlie, I think, just kicked his third. Brisbane 79-30 with about, what was that, 3 minutes left?
3 minutes left.
Yeah,
in the third quarter, I should say.
Taking a significant
but this game
lead.
is sliding ever so quickly away from the Cats' paws, if you would. Essendon, Melbourne, 7:25 Saturday night. The Bombers had a bit of a scrappy 13-point win over the Hawks. The package, Jake Stringer, he was the big talking point in this. Led the team in goals with 4 and disposals with 29. Pretty rare that you see that happen. The D's coming off the bye the week before, beating the Western Bulldogs in front of no crowd, so that didn't count according to our good friend Joseph. You'd imagine the D's probably get the job done here. I imagine they're quite short. I've tipped them.
I like what the Bombers been doing recently.
Yeah.
They've got some guys and they're getting...
Top 8 chat. It's not out of the realm of possibility. No. 6 and 7.
Yeah, so it depends if Judas down the end of the table. Has he stayed strong or picked the D's?
Yeah.
I've gone D's.
Judas.
You can't get past the D's at the moment, though.
No, they're red hot.
Yeah, they are. So they are favourites, $1.25. Essendon are out at $4. Line is 22.5.
And I wouldn't be touching that because remember we've spoken about the Melbourne Demons, where if it's a big team, they go out and they play out of their skin like a Western Bulldogs. You know, like a Richmond.
Yeah, rise to the occasion.
But then they've had these weird losses to Adelaide, and they've struggled to put away North Melbourne, and it kind of reeks of one of those danger games. But definitely tip the D's with confidence, but I don't think I'll be putting any money on this one.
Agreed.
Moving into the Sunday games. GWS, a lot of kerfuffle around this game. Was meant to be in Sydney originally, moved to Melbourne because of De Corco. The Giants, in a beautiful turn of events, they're using the Richmond Tigers facility. The Tigers were using their facility last year during their lockdown. And apparently Jack Riewoldt sounds like a good bloke. Great rendition of the Killers after winning grand finals. Looks like he doesn't mind a beer after the game, and he sent a couple of cases to the Giants boys as a thank you for sharing each other's facilities. The Giants actually gave the Blues their biggest loss of the year so far, 36 points. Jeremy Finlayson, 5 goals. A bloke that had 4 goals, Toby Green. He also was involved in a grubby act.
Water is wet.
Water is wet. Got fined. It was a little punch on Nick Newman. Off the ball, just kind of running past, didn't need to be done. It's for us as, you know, as neutral viewers or me semi-invested in this game, considering Carlton's season's gone.
Yeah.
You kind of watch it and you go, oh, you just keep giving me more reasons to dislike you.
I think this is very different because to say Selwood, and I mentioned before, like him, maybe that was frustration. Toby Green's just a cunt. Let's put it that way. He's just out there, just like, oh, I just want to hit. He's one of those niggly blokes that just wants to.
Yeah, that's a great word.
Yeah,
that's a great word.
He's trying. That's. I don't want to say it's little man syndrome, but he's, trying to get that one over you and just constantly niggling. And yes, he takes it too far. Let's put it that way. And again, another instance where he takes it too far, he cops a fine. I just wish there was some Barry Hall out there that would, happily sit out for 10 weeks and break your jaw.
Here's the thing. He's a fucking excellent footy player.
Which is so annoying. He's so
annoying and so annoying. And I bet as a teammate and as a friend.
I guarantee he's a lovely bloke off the field. He'll be, professional and...
Well, they did get caught up with it in an assault incident a few years ago. Anyway. I'm not going to judge a bloke off what happened years ago. But yeah, on the field, he just keeps getting this kind of grubby persona. And I imagine the boys get around him because you're like, yeah, well, he's got our back. And if there is a scrap out there, but he's also going to put his hand up and go out and not stand up for shit happening to anyone else. But he just does shit like this. It just seems so unnecessary. I'm all for a little bit of, like, if someone's, it happens quite often in the AFL. You get tackled, you get pinned holding the ball or whatever, and someone's going to push into the ground, give you a little head rub or whatever, and then you give them a little jumper punch back, whatever, no worries. But you're just running past someone who's not looking, and you just go fucking bang. Like, it just seems so unnecessary.
Did someone punch the guy in the cock last week? In the Freo game, maybe?
I am not sure. Monkey.
There you go. I think someone
did. I punch a guy in a cock.
I think there was a low blow in one of the AFL games, and it wasn't Toby Green, but I imagine Toby Green is like, as he's running past, a sneaky little quick
sack whack.
Yeah, a little quick sack whack. I'm pretty sure there was one in the AFL either last week or the week before. Yes, there was.
Yes, this is Toby Green.
Oh, this is Toby Green. Okay.
Have a look, Sean, if you haven't seen this incident, and let me know your thoughts. It's just, if this isn't in his game, you're going, this is one of the best small forwards of the past 8 years. Like, you probably as a neutral, you're loving it. And then this kind of shit happens, and Nick Newman, he's fine. He's probably winded. But
I'd also say, interesting kind of note, like he plays for Sydney. Sydney are not a club that...
Greater Western Sydney.
Greater Western Sydney. Sorry. Yes, you are right. If he was in Melbourne and he was trying to be like the face, the sponsorship deals and all that sort of stuff, I don't think he would do any of this because it depends on your, like you said, the persona. If you're trying to sell what you are to someone, like if a company like Coca-Cola wants to sponsor you for something,
we'll get into that in a second.
Do you then do these kind of things? I think in Sydney is just like, I'm here, I get in the media. Any publicity is good publicity. Is that what you're saying? I don't want to say it, but maybe a little bit as well. But
I don't think it's cost him anything. I think he's got deals with Puma. I think he's still pretty well remunerated in terms of sponsorship. It just seems to be the way he plays the games. And I like a bit of grit. Don't get me wrong. I like a little bit of aggression, but shit like that, you kind of like, that's so unnecessary.
I agree. So, Monks, what have you found there?
There is a cock shot.
So it looks like, this is back in May.
I don't know why this came back.
So this is about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the only one that I found so far.
It was this one. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
This is one I was thinking of.
Callum Mills sitting on the ground. I don't know if the ball's in play somewhere around there.
I can't see it.
It looks like a free kick to someone.
Balls in play.
It looks like a free kick.
Current defender Liam Stocker's just standing right above his shoulder, and he just Callum Mills just sort of gives him a tap.
Bit of how's he going?
Monkey steals the peach.
I don't think there was any squeezing in that, Peps. You know what that's all
like. No, it's an open fist, but I can see.
I think it was a closed fist.
Hang on here.
No, this is incidental eye poking.
I think I got a video here.
We've gone back a couple weeks, but there was a low shot, and my point being, I was surprised that this wasn't Toby Green.
Yeah,
let's watch it.
So kind of contested the ball.
So there's the two on the ground there.
They're both on the ground, and then
this internet and fucking the ACT, how good.
Great.
Well, this is a fucking scintillating listening.
So both Mills and Stocker have contested the ball. They're both fallen over. Probably a bit of push and shove in that.
Donald Trump.
He's forgot mass and he talks like me now. Like, what's going on?
And Callum Mills has grabbed him by the pussy.
This is why I don't talk. Push and shove while they're on the ground. Stocker gets up, and then Mills gives him a little bit of a love tap in the.
He's gone, Melania, come here. I'm president. All right. There's a game.
I think the problem with Trump wasn't his missus, but anyway, we'll keep going.
There's a game that of footy that we're talking about.
We should talk about. Well, we need to finish.
GWS and Hawthorn.
Yeah, let's get some tips. Let's move on to. Let's give some quick tips and move on to the next game because it's better than this one. I've picked the Giants for whatever reason.
I've gone the Giants. I do think that they should get this done.
It should be Hawthorn.
Aside from the whole COVID fiasco and having to pack bags and not knowing when you can go home, I think they're the better footy side.
Yes, agree. Max?
I've gone GWS as well. They are favourites $1.61. Hawthorn are out at $2.32. Line is 7.5.
Ooh, that's the first line that's really tempted Lallard me, I reckon.
Probably a bit short. Nice one. Anyway, let's talk about West Coast taking on the Western Bulldogs.
Game of the round.
In Optus Stadium in Perth, of course, where they are much stronger, the West Coast the Eagles, that is. What do you boys think?
Mate, this is
Dogs coming off, of course, the heartbreak on the siren.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear your tips for this one. So the Eagles coming off the bye after that.
Massive game for them.
And that big win against Richmond, with that little Liam Ryan chip to JJK to finish the game there. And the Dogs at the opposite end of a heartbreaking loss against the Geelong Cats, the Gary Rowan kick after the siren. Jack McRae had 35 last Friday night. He has 30 possessions every game so far this season.
Water is wet.
Water is wet. Could we be watching history? It could happen. He might go a whole season and have 30 touches in every game, which would be, I'm sure he'd smash the disposals record there. And no one's talking about him for the Brownlow because there's too many other guys there.
Yeah.
A guy called Bontempelli goes pretty well, takes a few votes off him.
Are possessions becoming, like disposals,
30,
becoming more of a fake stat like the triple-double is?
I'm glad you brought that up. 30 in today's game is not the same as 30 was in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's like
it's fast paced. You're handing it off a lot. There's lots of movement, lots more fitness.
Fitness side of things. 30 is not the same as it used to be. Back in the 90s, a bloke could get 30, go, oh wow. Whereas now you're like, oh, you're an elite midfielder and you didn't get 30.
Yeah, there's one bloke in every team doing that.
Yeah,
every game.
So and not to take anything away from Jack McRae, a fantasy superstar.
Yes.
And if the AFL traders are listening to this podcast, I'm sure you're not. You should consider Jack McRae for pig status because he is an absolute oink oink. Pig's like a.
Don't explain. It's all good.
Yeah. All right. Aaron Norton left this game with injured ribs. Fucked a lot of multis. I saw a few blokes had him to kick it 1 or 2. Not sure if he's named just yet. Time will tell. This is a cracker. This is by far and away the game of the round. They had that epic back. That might have been round 2 as well, early in the year, where the Dogs, I think, were 7-point winners in that one. It's a big task going over there at Opera Stadium in the West. I think the Dogs get this done.
So you picked the Doggies?
I've picked the Doggies.
I have also picked the Doggies.
Oh, no. Joseph, are you there? Oh, yeah, that's right.
He picked the Doggies.
I'm bold and I've got a deep voice and I picked the Dogs.
Who'd you pick, Max?
crazy to think, but I've gone West Coast.
Thank you. I think that's good.
Yeah,
I've probably saved the curse. I mean,
who are favourites
West Coast? Well, West Coast in Optus Stadium, favourites $1.68. Bulldogs are out at $2.20 at the moment.
Line's going to be very short.
Line's 5.5.
Goal in it.
Dogs head to head. Woof woof. And then a Sunday afternoon, fucking great game.
Perhaps who are you gonna back? Your heart or the Crom?
The Crom's sneaking up as my second favourite team. Essentially from the fact that it's a meme.
Yeah.
And Adelaide's a nice town. Nice wine.
Shout out Adelaide.
Shout out to Adelaide with their weekend before last. Carlton 4-9. I was saying 2 weeks ago I was at 4-7 that they could turn it around. The run home wasn't as difficult as the first half of the season. They're done. Put a line through them. Plan Mad Monday. Try and make some sort of respectable, 10-12 season out of it, 9-13 season out of it. They lost their, as I mentioned before, it was their biggest defeat of the year so far to the Giants, 36 points. So they don't get blown out. They haven't been embarrassed at all. They haven't lost the game by 100 points like some clubs, but they just don't look like this entire game they were behind against the Giants.
How many rounds are left in the AFL?
13 games played, 9.
9 more rounds?
9 rounds to go. And I think they played 2 top 8 teams in this, the Blue Baggers. So it's just another year where you say the list is on the improve. David Teague obviously under a lot of pressure as coach. I don't think it's his fault. There's a big external microscope on the club.
We could talk a bit more about that. And I was going to ask you the question: if they finished like 2-7 to finish up, so they'd be 6-15, like
6-16.
6-16. Sorry, yes.
Teague's gone. If that's like if they're 6-16, they're probably 16.
So at this point, are they playing for the head coach? So it sounds like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. And I've been an advocate for Teague. I think
we looked at his record last week, I think, or the week before. I'm like, he needs some time. Like he's won more games than the previous.
He's already won more games than Brendan Bolton, and coached for a third of the time.
Yeah.
And granted, maybe his list is a little bit better, but I don't know. To put it solely on him, I think the thing that does shit off the Carlton fans a little bit is that
they suck.
But in terms of Teague, is the lack of interest, like the emotion, the lack of visible emotional.
Well, he's not fiery
input.
Like these two blokes in this game.
Yeah, they're both very fiery, and Chris Scott is possibly overly emotional.
Too much, yeah. Fagan at least shows some emotion.
But you talk about Alistair Clarkson, who's won it all with Hawthorn. He fucking gets in there and punches holes through walls and gets fired the fuck up. Yeah. I'm not saying it needs to be that, but in terms of a body language kind of thing,
as a fan base, that's what you're looking for.
And you're sitting there, and the legs are folded, and you're sitting back, kind of like, oh, this is what we expect.
Yeah, 12 beers deep by that point.
I don't think he is.
What? I meant you.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting back with legs crossed, 12 beers deep. You like show some emotion.
It's a day ending in Y.
Yeah.
Look, we've probably spent too long on this. John Brown really blasted Zach Williams this week, who's saying he's been overrated, paying him too much money. He's lazy. He's not fit. He pointed out.
Well, they showed the vision. Like I've seen some of the vision. Like but I wouldn't say he's the only one. Is probably the other thing.
No, and it's not. It's you take Zach Williams out of the equation, and Carlton aren't in the top 8. I guarantee you that much. Look,
but maybe they could be paying overs for him at what they get in the product.
They're a little bit hurt, and you can use that as a crutch. I think I sent you guys that figure this week. They are in the top 4 most hurt sides. This season, but
so you grasp them as draws. So who are you picking in this?
I'm picking Carlton. I think in Melbourne against Adelaide, who have played a lot better than anyone had expected.
Exactly. They should beat that.
I've gone the Blues.
I'm back the Crom.
I'm not confident.
I'm back the Crom just because of Crom.
Fair enough. Go up the Crom. I'm number 2 team.
Who you picked, Max?
I have picked the Blues. They are favourites, $1.50. The Crom are out at $2.60 at the moment. Line is 11.5.
Can you please, and this might be stretching the relationship down here on the end of the table, scroll down and have a look at...
I was wondering what you're going to ask him for.
Well, I'm asking for Ben Keys to have 30 possessions. He's averaged 32 in his last 5 games. He's really coming along for Adelaide. 7 tackles a game, average 6 score involvements, 6 clearances. He is having an absolute breakout year there for the Crom. There should be a 30 disposal market there. If that's anything around $2, I'd be very, very interested in that.
Sounds juicy. What do you got, Max?
He's got 30 and 3 goals.
That's wrong. Hang on.
You bring... No, that's not it, Monkey. That's 30 and 3 goals.
Yeah. No, I was trying to get down to the other part of the list.
Disposals. Yeah, this is good listening. All right, well, that's what I might be betting on.
If it's juicy, bet on it. Let's put it though.
Oh, no, wait.
Disposal buckets. Oh, and now we're
everything's
fucked.
gone now.
This is good listening.
We've got disposals. Here we go.
There we go. 30. There you go. Right there. There you go.
What's it paying? Give me a number.
Oh, we got there. $1.72. No,
stay away. Stay away. It's not over $2.
Not worth that last minute of
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I think that'll do.
Did we get the odds on the game?
Yes, he did. He did all that. He did margins too. So
and tip Crom?
No, I went Blues.
He Blues. You 2 Blues. I was Crom. Up the Crom. So to finish off our AFL chat for the week, it's 4th quarter now. Lions are up 80-37 with 14 minutes to go.
I need to piss my pants.
I think we might be backed up at the bathroom here in a minute.
Can you introduce the NBA?
Yes.
And I'll come in swinging in a minute.
Sounds like a plan.
Right.
Off you go. So NBA, we are now into the conference semi-finals. Game 7 was probably Game 7 Clippers versus Jazz. Clippers win. No Kawhi Leonard. They finish up winning that series in 7 games. Terrence Mann, as Peps goes to take his very, very, very small dingling out, pee into that toilet.
I don't know why. I don't know how you know that.
I don't know why I'm describing this. This is for all the boys that listen. Yes, he's tiny. He puts up 39, by far his biggest game ever, to get them home and to get the Clippers into the semifinals. The Bucks versus the Monstars in the Nets. Macca called this. He did say the Bucks would win. I was very much on the Nets side. I thought KD and Harden might get them there. Harden did in this last game, 22 points, and KD I think was like 48 or something like that. He had a really, really good game, but it wasn't enough. The Bucks got it done in the end. KD, I think he threw an air ball towards the end there too, and just they couldn't get it done.
Yeah,
so there was. They looked to have won the game with a 3-pointer at the death, but he had his toe on the line. Yeah. And I think in the post-match, KD also was like, it wasn't what God planned for this one. So right. For them to go deeper than that. And now the Nets...
Crazy. And I mean, that's probably been the story of a lot of these playoff games. It's like it's come down to that last...
Something crazy in the last
bucket.
Yeah.
We'll get into... a few more shortly, but
so the great freak finished up with 40 points and his 63% field goal, and KD was 48 for 47. The scenes in Milwaukee were excellent. Fans. We talked about fans before. The fans for the NBA, they're going bananas at the moment, and we'll talk very quickly about the NHL later. But again, fans going bananas for playoff basketball. What do you think? Where do you think the Nets go from here? I think all chat was. Kyrie Irving, is I fucked it. He is probably done. There was chatting early in the season that he might not play there next year, and he might have to go somewhere else. I think they will have Harden, Durant. And there was someone else from their squad who's already said he's not resigning, so he'll be elsewhere. So they might have to.
Do you reckon Blake will stick around?
Again, maybe. They might have to retool the Monstars a little bit.
Who cares? The Monstars are out.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck them.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that too. So
I love watching KD. He's a freak. He's one of the best basketballers that's ever lived. But I've said it multiple times on the Esky before. I'm not a fan of just in one year, assembling this all-star team and putting all your chips on the table and trying to win it. And I think Stephen A. Smith said it's karma. It's karma.
Is it?
Take fucking whatever that bloke says with a grain of salt. But I tend to agree with him there. I think it's good for basketball.
You shouldn't win a season in the off season.
Correct.
No, you try to get better in the off season.
It wasn't even just in the off season.
During the season,
Griffin come across halfway through the year. They put all their eggs in one basket, and guess what? That basket's gone now.
Marks, can you find me the winners in the last couple of years, or the winners of the NBA championship? I'd be interested to know when was the last time that a team that wasn't, say, superstar driven, didn't win. If you get one and put them down,
did win.
I can tell you right now, off the top of my head, in the last 8 years, a team that hasn't had LeBron or Steph Curry hasn't been in the final.
Yeah, and LeBron kind of brought that team together. You get AD, get the superstars again, build that team.
8 years was just off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it's more than that. 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So it's been 10 years. You've got to go back to the Lakers and the Mavericks and the Heat. Because LeBron was in that.
Yeah, exactly. So the Heat,
so
they built
10 years. You've got to go back to the Lakers and Celtics in 2010 for a final season that didn't feature LeBron James or Steph Curry.
Yeah, but also I'd say teams that were groomed over time, with young guys coming in versus going out and buying the biggest stars in the league and creating a big three.
Yep.
Essentially.
Well, that's how far you got to go back to.
Yeah.
Before that, you had the Lakers with Kobe.
Yeah, well,
that's true. That's true. Yeah. Kobe was in that side.
Yeah, but Kobe was drafted by the Lakers. He was there and they grew with the Lakers.
It wasn't poached.
Exactly, wasn't poached.
Yeah.
Which I think is also really interesting. With
not that Steph was poached either.
No, exactly. But there is
KD.
Yeah. But having said that, looking at the teams that you've got now, of the four, 3 of them are probably built that way. That they're teams with young guys that they've picked up, and they've kind of role guys that are fitting a role versus the mega superstars where they've got a whole bunch of mega superstars together to make a run. Besides maybe the Clippers.
The Clippers is the team that you're alluding to there. Yes. In that they've just bought Kawhi and Paul George.
Yes.
Do the Suns count with CP3 there?
I think
kind of an aging guy.
Exactly. I think he's more a role player where they've gotten
probably he's not a role player.
No. But the idea being he's been picked up to play a role, which is bringing your...
That's the definition of a role.
sorry. But the idea, the veteran...
Semantics,
he's brought in for the fucking leadership.
Veteran
he's excellent in his position. He's probably one of the greatest guards of all time. So, but he's been brought in as aging in the back end of his career, not in his prime, his prime of his career. Mm-hmm. He's still excellent. He probably, MVP shout at Macca, I think. We're saying the same thing.
Conversation's fair.
Yeah, the conversation's fair. But brought in essentially, there's hey, come in, help Booker out, give us veteran leadership, help us put us over the edge, help the young guys that are already in the club versus going out and going, well, of our starting 5, we're going to go get him and him and him and put him all together to create this, monstars as we refer to it as.
And that's why I'm so intrigued.
Here's another piece to add to the puzzles.
I said it earlier in the podcast, and that's why I'm so intrigued this year in that.
Yeah, I like the Hawks are built that way. The Bucks are built that way. They've got their guy. They've
and
brought
no one's
in.
won for fucking ages. And it's cool.
Yeah.
No disrespect to LeBron. No disrespect to Steph Curry and that Klay Thompson Splash Brothers. You had KD, one of the best teams ever assembled. No disrespect to those Warriors and Cavs over the past few years. But it's like in the league when you're watching Melbourne Storm and you're watching the Roosters just be good for so long. This is like Canberra Raiders and North Queensland Cowboys. Like, you know.
You really like to see the teams
The Cowboys is a bad example.
Yeah, but you really like to see those teams that develop over time. Like, you build around those stars. Like, take the Suns, for example. Your Booker was picked.
Yeah.
Was it late first round? Or I think it was late first round.
Yep.
You know, he's had Kobe was kind of a mentor, and he's built his career up slowly. They've built the guys around him slowly.
And you get this number one pick in DeAndre Ayton in 2018,
Exactly.
and he turns out to be a fucking weapon of a center.
Yeah, but again, you build in the roster, then you add the final piece being Chris Paul.
Yep.
And then you as a fan, you spent the last 5 years to get to that point. You're now seeing the payoff in that.
Yeah. Booker was 13th overall. So mid.
Yeah, he was number one. So
and not top 5.
Yeah. So you've seen that time, you know, pay off to what you are now versus in the off season we've gone out and we had the one big guy and then we signed 3 guys around him and then we traded for X and then now we're the Monstars. So it's
and you talk to basketball fans and not too many people say, "Oh, I fucking hate the Suns." Do you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, fuck, I hate the Nets." "Oh, fuck, I hate the Lakers." you get that pretty often.
That's it. The Suns are just like there. They're just
You don't see too many people saying, "Fuck, I hate the Hawks." They've been shitouts for years.
Yeah, all the Bucks. And Clippers maybe get away with it because of the little brothers to the Lakers.
Yeah, I think they're probably, like we said, they're the difference from these other 3 teams.
Yeah, yes,
but my goodness, it is fucking intriguing. And I tell you what, on top of the theatre of it all, this game 7 between the 76ers and the Hawks was all time disappointing for Sixers fans, as you shouted a bit earlier in the podcast. For fans of Ben Simmons, you know, Aussie basketball fans, for fans of Joel Embiid.
Yep.
It was their 3rd home game loss of the series. They were booed at the end of the game. Joel had 31 points, 11 boards, great numbers.
Yep.
8 turnovers. And in game 7 also had 8 turnovers.
Yeah, fair amount of turnovers.
Ben Simmons, we spoke about it last week. We don't need to harp on it.
Well, he continued it, unfortunately. Like he didn't get fouled as much in this game, but the free throws he had chances he missed, and he solidified his worst playoff free throw record of all time
by a long way.
Yes,
34% from the line.
Yeah,
for anyone that's taken over 70 shots, it was the worst by a long way. I think for comparison, he missed more free throws, if you would, than the whole of the Atlanta Hawks and the Brooklyn Nets did in this series. And again, what I was saying to you before, I'm not going to shit on a I hate that the rhetoric is, "Oh, he sucks, he's shit, he's trash."
He doesn't suck. He's had a stinky final series.
Indeed.
Lost all confidence in his shooting game.
Yeah, indeed.
And you know, his coach and Embiid both threw him under the bus in this. Alluded to the fact that he was the slider.
They threw him under the bus. The bus went forward. They chucked it in reverse, and they just went back over it like
a couple times, back and forth. Yeah.
And if he does get shafted from Philadelphia, which could happen, I'm sure someone picks him up and he's out of the Olympics and all they want to work on is his work from 3-point and from the free throw line.
Not confirmed, but all chat is he's going to pull out of the Olympics, and which would be a huge loss for the Boomers, the Australian Olympic side. Yeah, because they've we talked about this before. They finished 4th. Ridiculous amount of times, and they really want to push for that medal. And Ben Simmons is probably the best export basketball player that we've ever had. We'd really want him to be a part of that squad, but it looks like he's going to pull out of that and have an off season, take his time off. But he did the same thing coming up to the World Cup of basketball, and we didn't improve his shooting or anything like that. So there's talk about him being, a left-hand shooter. Maybe he should switch to right, considering he's right-handed. But
anyways, it's been done to death.
Dude.
The dude.
It's interesting enough that a lot of teams would still be really, really interested in him, and there's lots of reports that there could be over a dozen teams that would want to trade for him. Because he's an all-time defensive player. He dish the ball and deliver some dimes where
he's a 6'10" guard.
I think he had.
It's Magic Johnson. If he can shoot, he's Magic Johnson.
Well, I think he had 12 or 13 assists, which is double almost.
And no one wants to talk about that.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, that's not what cost him the game.
No, exactly. He was involved in a lot of scoring opportunities, but...
And the big thing is the fourth quarter. He didn't take a shot in the last 3 games in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I think the perception as well, that looks really bad on him. Like, you want...
He's got the yips.
He 100% has the yips. He's obviously lost confidence with what his shooting is. Whether, some of that was maybe a little bit game plan as well. Like, Embiid was going to be the focus and try to get Toby Harris and... Tobias, sorry.
Same as that little Australian fuckwit that Bart calls up. Tobias, $800 dues.
Yeah. And Curry being the other one as their shooters. It was like dish to the shooters and let them try to take their shots.
Yep.
Because,
Curry had a really good game in that game.
Exactly. Play the percentages. And, Ben Simmons' game then be more of an assist game in that point, which is what it was. And maybe some of that was game plan wise.
You got to be able to shoot a jumper.
Yeah. If you got good looks.
And from the line.
Good looks. You're 3 feet out. You've got to be putting that in the bucket.
Like the worst you can be from the line is like 60. So, again, from a bunch of unqualified, beer-drinking fucking morons. And I really want to see a good Ben Simmons. I think it's good for basketball in this nation.
It's great for some,
100%. Yeah.
But I do feel for the people of Philadelphia who had to watch a team really bottle a series there.
And they're not happy. So Philadelphia fans not happy at all, and they're essentially putting all that blame on Ben Simmons. So they want him going. So
that would be one of the more hardcore fan bases in.
Yeah, nothing soft, I should say, comes out of Philadelphia.
No,
Kevin Hart, shout out, Southside Philadelphia man, I think.
Yeah, well, Trae Young punched the process in the face, so we'll have to restart the process and
metaphorically, yes, metaphorically,
yes.
Anyways, the conference finals are underway. The Suns and the Clippers are doing battle in the West. It's a 2-0 lead to the Phoenix Suns at this stage. Game 1, the Suns, they got there reasonably comfortably, winning by 6 at home in Phoenix. Devin Booker, 40-point triple-double, one of the games of his career, and he does it in his first conference finals. Game 1.
Yep.
And then game 2.
Crazy.
The alley-oop. We had it on our Instagram yesterday.
We did.
You're getting better with those video edits.
Getting there.
Shout out to Mike. We're working out the ins and outs of editing videos. If anyone that's received a meme from me, you can tell it's definitely not my work. I'm pretty ordinary with that shit, but you're getting there.
All right. Yeah, it's getting there. We just need to put more content out. But yeah, what a game was game 2.
This was back and forth. The last 2 minutes was ridiculous. They were reviewing everything. There was the one with the Devin Booker was ruled to the last touch of the ball. It looked
down the sideline.
Yeah, down that right sideline. They looked at that for ages, and then Paul George goes to the line and misses two free throws, which gives the opportunity.
Pandemic P.
Yeah, it gives them the opportunity to shoot the 3 for the win or the 2. It gave them the opportunity to shoot the 2 to win it rather than the 3. They got an open look for the 3. That missed. That was Michael Bridges. Goes out. They review it again.
Yep.
Turns out it's Suns ball. And then it was Jake.
Off the baseline, was it?
Yeah, off the baseline. And it was Jake Crowder. That's probably not someone that you'd imagine to be throwing a dime to DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah.
Alley-oop to win the game. Fucking scenes in Phoenix.
Yeah. Under a second as well.
Yeah, boy.
On the clock.
It was 0.9 seconds, and it took them 0.2 seconds. So the Clippers actually got the ball back, but it was pretty much done at that stage. An absolute heroic call there from Monty Williams. And one of the better game 2s that you'll ever see. The Suns have a 2-zip lead. I'm pretty sure that the Clippers have been down 2-zip in both of their playoff series so far.
Won both in 7?
They beat this. Yeah, both in 7. Yeah. So can they do the same here? No Kawhi.
Kawhi's a big one.
Isn't it?
And I think Chris Paul passed his COVID test today.
Yeah, so they're saying that he's a possibility for tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they celebrated this game afterwards. We had him on the FaceTime in their locker rooms, and they're all gone nuts. Yep. They love They love CP, so to get him back in the side, I think is a huge get.
Big time. Correction, they beat Dallas in 7 and they beat Utah in 6.
There you go.
But yeah, coming back from 0-2 in both of those series.
Suns in 4.
Suns in 4 guy. Suns in 4 guy. We spoke about him last week. He's been given the royal treatment.
Yep, he's still making the rounds.
Everyone loves him. Selfies and a lot.
Mate, he punched a fuck out of 2 blokes and he's getting free tickets, and maybe that's what we need to do. Go to a game, a few people get lippy, throw a few, and I'll tell you what, they were good uppercuts. There's a few. Anyways, Suns in 4 guy, how good. So tomorrow they'll be back in LA. Kawhi is still out, it seems. CP3 is a maybe.
I'm backing the Suns in from this point.
Yeah.
I really want to see the Suns in the final.
They've missed Kawhi. They've really missed Kawhi. Basketball fans have missed Kawhi.
But I think, CP and Devin Booker, both been underrated. They've finished number 2 seeds. They've been having a great year. It'd be excellent to see them in a final.
And the thing with Kawhi as well, no one really knows what the fuck's going on with this knee. So there was reports last week that it might have been an ACL.
ACL was done for the year, yeah.
And then it's like, oh no, it's a knee sprain, and it's game by game, it's day by day, and no one really fucking knows what's going on.
To me, it sounds like it's an ACL. It's not going to get worse. So let's see if we can tape that shit up.
Strap the fuck out of it.
Yeah, a few needles and see how you go, and we'll do surgery in the off season.
We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah. You take Kawhi on a one knee.
Fucking earth, yeah.
But I think the Suns are just red hot at the moment.
Yep. I think the Suns get home here.
Speaking of injuries, what do you think about Booker's nose?
Yeah, so I was reminiscent of the 2007 Steve Nash in that Western Conference semi-finals. I think it's broken. It looks like it's broken.
That's 100% broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cooper Cronk or Ferguson was like, that shit's broken.
Oh, yeah, Blake Ferguson, shout out. I'm sure big fan of the NBA. Also with a crooked schnozzeroo on him. It didn't look very good. Incidental contact there. I think it was with Pat Beverley's head.
Yeah. It was a head clash.
Yeah, mate. They're going to have to tape the fuck out of it. He might be wearing the mask, is what they're saying.
I'd say he'd probably be masked up and see how he plays with the mask. But I don't think it takes away from the Suns. I think that at this point, he's red hot. And he played well after that. He broke his nose as well. So
yeah, he's tough.
So he's a tough man. So, yeah. Go to the other conference?
Yeah, over in the East, the Hawks. Mm-hmm. What's home court advantage? They don't give a fuck. they went to Madison Square Garden. They get a win in game 1.
Yeah.
They went to Wells Fargo Center there in Philadelphia. They get a game 1 victory, and they won three of those games in Philadelphia. They don't care. They don't need their home fans there. Trey is ice fucking cold.
I think he's
48 points and 11 assists today.
Yeah, in the last minute, I think he had 4 free throws and he sunk all of them.
Clutch, man.
He's so clutch.
He's clutch. Look, they give him the ball and you foul him and you're like, this is automatic. This is absolutely automatic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, poor fella, he's not here to defend himself. Macca, if you ever want someone to go fucking berserk, bet the unders. So I think his line was like 29 points. Macca bet the unders. And he fucking shit on that and he doubled it. I think he also had the Greek Freak to have 35. That didn't happen. Poor fella. Again, if you ever want someone to do well, just bet against him.
Yes.
Simple.
Yeah. I think for Trae Young as well, that was first time in like 30 years someone had 45 plus points for the Hawks. So, he's an absolute megastar for them in a playoff game. Yeah. He's an absolute megastar for the Hawks. So I'd love to see a Suns versus Hawks final, honestly.
Yeah, 5th seed. We're talking about pre-show.
But then also the 2 young blokes, like the Greek Freak and Paul George and Kawhi Leonard being kind of the older superstars.
Yeah,
bring Booker and Trae Young into it, and I was just like, that's the future of basketball.
And it's probably 3 categories. Like you don't want to put the Greek Freak in with, a CP3 and a Paul George, but established. Yeah, 2-time MVP.
Well, he's more like Leonard, like established.
Yeah, I like that. But yeah, it's the young guys are here, and they're so fun to watch. The Bucks, I don't know if they could have done anything more today. Giannis had 34. He just about had a triple-double. Drew Holiday had 33. If there was one to pick out, it was probably Chris Middleton. He was 0 of 9 from three-point land. He had 15 points.
I think that three-point shooting was very lacking in this throughout. Like they had a clean look for a three-pointer to win this game.
It was Middleton.
Yeah, and airball missed a lot. So
I think it. No, I don't think it was. I think it got the rim. We might have to watch that one again.
Another skull bell, perhaps.
No,
because I know this missed everything. I remember watching it. It missed everything. It was to the left of the rim a little bit from where he was shooting outright. So, yeah, didn't touch any paintwork, unfortunately for him.
Mate, we've got a series. We've got a series there.
Oh, I think both are going to be excellent series. I'm hoping for Suns Hawks at this point, but it's basketball across the board has been excellent and super competitive.
Yep.
There's been no blowouts or anything like that in this.
I don't care. I don't have any emotional attachment to any of these teams. I'm happy that the Monstars and the Nets have been knocked out, and I'm happy that it's not a Golden State or a LeBron-led team. I think this is good for basketball. I think this is good for sort of the semi-casual fan just to go, there are other teams that can go out there and win it. And either way, in a few weeks' time, when the finals are all done, there's going to be some kind of fucking wild party. Whether or not it's in Atlanta or Milwaukee or Phoenix or in Los Angeles, time will tell.
Yeah. So we're finished up with some other NBA news.
Yes, let's do it.
And the big one was the trade. So how do you say Walker's first name? Kemba Walker was traded to OKC, so Oklahoma Thunder, I believe, from memory. So the Celtics get Al Horford and Moses Brown plus 2023 second-round pick. Yep. Thunder get Walker, of course. They get a first-round pick, and they get a second-round pick in 2025. So it seems like there's a lot of financial benefits for both sides in this. But Walker being a big name, I think, was the
massive,
main.
And I think hasn't really had, the success at Boston that he had before. Yeah, there at Charlotte. I don't mind this trade as a Celtic. Well, from a Celtic point of view, I should say.
Agree.
Walker, he makes a lot of money, so OKC is going to have to pay that out. And in return, you get an aging Horford, but a guy that played with all these young Celtics just a few years ago in Brown and in Smart and in Tatum. Horford's probably just the pawn that's been moved in this. The big thing is the first rounder.
Yes, yeah. I think the pick, essentially, like you say, like we mentioned before, it was all sort of financial moving around of the big contracts, but the picks, I think, is the main one. And getting Walker and a first round pick is probably huge for them.
Massive. The other big thing was the draft lottery that happened the other night. The big one was the Detroit Pistons getting the number one overall in next year's draft. The Rockets getting 2, Cavs 3, Raptors 4, Magic 5. The Pistons, geez, they were pretty ordinary this year. So were the Rockets.
No Harden, well, they were terrible. What was interesting was how they tried to make this a TV event, and the viewing of said television of the draft lottery was absolutely terrible. And I think the representative they had from the Pelicans for the number 10 pick, when they got announced as the number 10 pick, that was like, oh, fuck. They were hoping for a bit better than that, and I was like, went and pressed. So wasn't great viewing, and that was probably the only interesting thing came out of it, was her non-happiness of the fact that they got 10.
Who is a good position there?
One.
Well,
I mean, in terms of the team now and what pick they can get, who'd be a big move in next season?
Maybe the Thunder, the Warriors. There you go.
Yeah, so the Warriors, we didn't mention before, but they got pick 7 and pick 14. So 2 guys coming in with Clay coming back.
Yep.
Steph's going to do Steph stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
still got Green there as well?
Draymond will be back and healthy, hopefully. I imagine they'll be much better next year.
Yeah, that'll be the one. If they can retool real quick, then they could be dominant again next year.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the Euros. Round of 16.
Do you want to just
awaits us?
Finish up the AFL?
Oh, yeah. So the Brisbane Lions have put to the sword the Geelong Cats, 94-50, 44-point win up there at the Gabba. A great retribution, I suppose, is what you'd say for the 1 point loss there in round 2. I tell you what, a bit of a fortress up there at the Gabba. The Lions, very good up there and well-deserved winners in this one.
Could have scored a few more points, I think, in this one.
13-16, meh.
Yeah.
You win by 44, I don't think.
Exactly.
That's a big concern, really.
Just quickly mention
I saw some of the Hipwood missing goals from set shots. So, again, water is wet.
Real quick, Geelong, first quarter, 1 point.
Yeah, 34-1, was it?
Something like that,
Yeah.
Terrible.
Blown out off the park.
We keep saying water is wet. Is water wet, or are you wet because you get water on you?
That's... I don't know.
So, Euros.
Let's get into the soccer. Let's talk some European football. I've been saving that all day.
Jeez. All day to think of that one.
No, it was last hour. We kept saying that. I was like, that'd be funny.
It's better than my 25% still.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I can't wait to listen to that. Group A.
I want to try and delete that out of my
Group A, Italy and Wales go through, and Switzerland get the third place on 4 points. They go through.
Italy good.
Turkey out. Italy 7 goals, 0 conceded. They were flying under the radar a little bit before the tournament had started. In terms of big names, not like an old Italy, with a Buffon and a Pirlo. And some of even going back before that, with your Vieris and your Filippo Inzaghi's, there's no reason why they can't win this thing. They have been really flying under the radar. They're into the second favourite, and the feel good story out of the whole bloody tournament. I'm going to say, I was just going to say for Italy, but for the whole tournament, Matteo Pessina is 24-year-old. He was playing, I think 3 years ago, he was playing in third division, the Lega Pro, worked his way up into City B, and then got a season at Atalanta. They've been doing really well recently. He was left out of the squad, and he came in only because of an injury. He's playing really good. He's got a goal at the Euros, and it's sort of like a N'Golo Kante or a Jamie Vardy in that 3 years ago, he was playing third division football, and now he's there playing for his country and dominating at a Euros.
But still young. So we've got the late bloomers tag there, but still 24. There's still a lot of football in him.
Indeed. But as well, at soccer, you're talking about like a Messi that got signed when he was 13.
Yeah.
I think Barcelona, you're like, true.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Like some of the real child prodigies, they get onto them really early. So it's nice to see, as an older bloke, 31-year-old, maybe just coming into me golden years now.
I think you probably play goalkeeper and not much else in soccer. So
yeah, State League 8 down there on camera.
Yeah.
But all jokes aside, I think Italy are a real contender. We'll get to the round of 16 matchups soon.
I'm on the Italian bandwagon. I'm here with all the pizza and pasta. Let's go, boys.
Num. Obviously anyone that's listening to this already knows the team that they'll face in the round of 16 is Belgium.
Yeah. That's what you call a year.
That's not right.
Marcus, can you pull up the top 16 for us?
On the screen, that was off the top of the dome. No, they don't play Belgium.
Someone plays Belgium.
Belgium plays Portugal.
There you go. Yeah.
Belgium plays Portugal. Yeah, that shit needs to be up there, bro.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
All right. So I think they're on the same side of the draw is where this has come in the deep dark space of my mind.
Probably if they both win, I think they play each other.
Yes, considering they both win. That's the point. So we got there. In the quarterfinals,
click on that one.
They will have the winner of the Belgium and Portugal game. That is
two massive sides.
Yeah. That's qualifying.
That's all right.
Keep looking, Max. Top 16 is what we're after. So if you go to Group B, so Group A, Italy and Wales are the two main ones. Group B, we've got Belgium and I think awesomely Denmark come out of there too.
Yeah, so they were on 0 points after 2 games. They had to go out there and beat Russia and beat them well, and that's what they did.
Yeah.
4-1.
Poor Ruskies.
That Andreas Christensen goal, pretty close to goal of the tournament, a fucking rocket. Just about put a hole in the old onion bag. And Belgium, we spoke about Italy. They've scored 7 and conceded 0. Belgium scored 7, conceded 1. Lukaku has 3 goals. Hazard, De Bruyne looking good. And they play 3-4-3. They don't give a fuck. They'll have 3 at the back and just attack. Yeah. And we spoke about it last week. This is their window.
Yep.
All their players are in their prime. If there's any time that they can do it, it's now.
Do you think that they play attacking like that against Portugal?
Well, it's always a bit different in a knockout game.
Because I can understand why they'd play like that against Denmark, Finland, and Russia. I think you, as a coach, you're pretty confident. Like, yeah, we're gonna win those games.
Yeah, I don't know if they change up a formation this late in the tournament. Maybe.
So Italy up against Austria in the
yeah, that's 16. Right. And then I'm pretty sure they get the winner of the Belgium-Portugal game.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So,
yeah, Group C. So Netherlands and we just mentioned Austria. They go through.
Austria go through. Ukraine go through as well. North Macedonia miss out.
They did get some goals in this tournament, which was good. I think for them being probably the low. I think they were the lowest ranked team, weren't they, in the Euros?
I think so. In terms of their ranking, in terms of where the bookies had them, they scored 2, conceded 8. Absolutely, have nothing to be embarrassed about going home. A tiny country, and a lot of Macedonians in Australia, especially in the Canberra region. So shout out to any Macedonian expats. Alex Volkanovski is one of them. The Netherlands, again, are sort of like Italy in that no one was really taking them that serious before the comp, and they go out, they get 9 points, they've scored goals. They're at $13 still. The bookies are still sleeping on them at it, and they're not. It's not the same side as when you had a Van Persie and a.
That was going to be my question. Are they as good as they were in the last decade or leading up to this?
On paper, no.
Yeah.
But Wijnaldum is all class, and Memphis Depay is looking as good as he's ever been. They're playing a 5-3-2, so very different to Belgium in that they've got a more defensive setup, but they've got Dumfries and Van Aanholt cruising up the wings.
Yeah.
There's no reason why they can't go deeper in this tournament. My concern for going back to Italy is that one side of the draw is heavily favoured compared to the other. So on one side, to split them into 2, you've got Belgium, Portugal, Italy, Austria, France, Switzerland, and Croatia, Spain.
Yep.
Then on the other side, Sweden, Ukraine, England, Germany, massive game.
Yep.
Netherlands, Czech Republic, Wales, Denmark. So for mine, looking at that first half of the draw seems to be more heavily stacked with teams that can legitimately win it.
Well,
your Belgiums, your Italy, your France's.
Well, is that 5 of, say, the top 10 teams?
I would say 6 of the best 8 are on that.
There you go.
In Belgium, Portugal, Italy, France, Croatia, Spain.
Yep.
I think that's 6 of the best 8. I think England and Germany on the other side, chuck the Netherlands, 6 of the best 9, I think are on one side of the draw.
Yep.
Yeah. I think Wales and Denmark, congrats for getting there, but you probably don't see them winning it. You don't see the Czech Republic winning it. Sweden, Ukraine, congrats. Yeah. And Sweden,
I think Sweden's got a good side.
If you want a real roughie, a real smoky, this is a team back in the 2018 World Cup made sure that Germany didn't go through. Yep. And Germany, we'll get to them in a second, they only snuck through by the skin of their fucking teeth. Maybe you can't write off of Sweden, but in terms of legitimate legitimate threats to winning the whole thing.
What was Sweden paying there, Max?
$41.
They are best of the rest, according to that.
Well, Denmark's much shorter, apparently. But then, if you wouldn't mind scrolling up there. So
I laughed before because I couldn't believe England was $6, like second favourites.
I don't know how that happens.
They shouldn't be there.
But France, Italy, Spain, Belgium are all on one side.
Yep.
One side of the draw there.
Belgium at $10 is not bad.
And Germany, you can't write them out. That Germany-England winner, you'd think, is probably who goes to the semi-final.
Yes, maybe from that side.
Maybe the Netherlands have got something to say about that. Mm-hmm. But you look at this Germany side, and they've really limped. They've really limped to get there. They didn't even get out of the group in 2018 World Cup. You look back to that side in 2014 in Brazil, which spanked Brazil 7-1, 7-1 in their own country, and you've got, Miroslav Klose, the best striker in World Cup history. You've got Bastian Schweinsteiger, you got Thomas Muller, you got Philipp Lahm. You had one, that was a golden era Germany side. They're still Germany. They're still going to be disciplined. They're still going to be good, but they just don't feel like.
Well, they're fourth favourites according to Sportsbet, so they're still up there.
They just don't feel like that old Germany. No. Again, it's Euros, it's football, it's soccer. Anyone on their day can win it, but they just don't feel that like that dominant side of yesteryear. And I think you throw Spain into that equation too.
Yes.
But, for mine, on paper, I think France is the best side, but I think Belgium, man, they're at $10.
That's nice value.
And I really do think the winner comes from that one side of the draw where you've got Belgium, Portugal, Italy, France, Spain.
Yeah, got the hard road. Got really good competitive matches. So hopefully they'll steal you to get into the finals. But on the flip side, maybe that wears you out to get there, but we'll see. So to round off the groups, so Group D, England and Croatia went through.
Yep.
Group E was Sweden and Spain, as we mentioned.
Czechs also in that
and the
group.
Czechs all came through there. And then Group F was France, Germany, and Portugal, which was the group of death, essentially. So
the group of death and
group of death for Hungary.
A valiant Hungary. They were a bee's dick away from stealing a lot of German hopes there. The big story out of that, and I think it was back in the first game, was the Cristiano Ronaldo presser, where he essentially, they had a Coke here, he said, nope, and he took it out, and he said, aqua, and pretty much showed he's disgusted having a Coca-Cola in front of him. He just wanted to drink water. And subsequently, Coke's shares plummeted about $3 billion.
Yeah, the day after they plummeted by billions of dollars, and the following day they even lost more money. So
ridiculous.
Yeah, they've recovered a little bit since then, but not great.
It was funny that Yarmolenko from Ukraine, he was saying he's happy for Coke or Heineken, who's also a major sponsor. That he's saying happy for any of them to get in contact with him. I was saying to the boys, we're also happy for Coke or Heineken or fucking, the river water from down Tuggeranong Lake to get in contact with us. We'll
Maybe
put
not
you
Tuggeranong
here.
Lake.
Yeah, some pond water with some scum on the top of it.
Yeah, bit of blue-green algae. We're happy for you to sponsor our show. But unbelievable. The actions of one bloke moving a can of Coke can cause $3 billion of loss. Capitalism. Holes in it, perhaps. And Pogba did the same thing. A Muslim.
For Heineken.
For Heineken.
But it's a Heineken Zero.
Yes.
So it's also did not have any alcohol.
No.
Heineken's share prices went up, though.
Yeah. There you go.
So I guess
a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's like, Heineken. Oh, I didn't. Heineken. Oh, the share price looks good. I might buy that.
Yeah, it's the old meme stock of the US at the moment.
Yeah.
Just jumping on random shit.
Anyways, if we...
No financial advice here on this.
Well, we give shit tips in sports. So if we were to give you financial advice, go buy a tent and I'll go live in it with you, because that's about where I'm going. Round of 16, if you wouldn't mind, Monks. We've already spoken a little bit about it. Belgium and Portugal is a massive, massive matchup. Italy and Austria going at it. You'd imagine the Italians get the job done there. France and Switzerland, you imagine the French get the job done there. Croatia and Spain. Spain aren't the old Spain.
I think it's a sneaky good game.
Yeah, it's a great game. And to be fair, Croatia aren't the same team that pushed France to win the World Cup a few years ago. Then on the other side of the draw, Sweden and Ukraine. Congrats to the Swedes for winning another group, as they did in the World Cup. But probably don't see either of those sides winning the whole thing. England, Germany, probably the most scintillating matchup there. It's in London. Yep. And then Netherlands, Czech Republic, and Wales, Denmark. It does seem that one side of the draw is far more interesting in terms of strike power than the others. Anyways, the Euros are going ahead. It's a year late, but how good?
That's it, yeah.
Let's get into the final round. Let's start off with the NHL, our favourite sport, mate.
That's it. Man of the hour isn't here either.
Yeah, well, that's good. We can get it done even quicker. Not too much.
Just run through the notes.
I was going to say that, well, there's not too much ice down here in Australia, at least in the frozen water term.
There's plenty of ice in rural country, Australia.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was trying to allude to, but I didn't spit it out. So the Canadians lead the Golden Knights 3-2. Very interesting, the COVID restrictions between Canada and the United States. The US is kind of, we don't give a fuck.
Pretty
we'll
much.
have 20,000 in there and empty-ish stands over there in Montreal. So the Vegas Golden Knights have to win there. And over in the other side of the Stanley Cup semi-finals, the Lightning and the Islanders going at it 3 apiece. The Islanders have forced the game 7 after winning in OT. Sean, what did you learn today about overtime in ice hockey?
Well, golden goal. So they scored with a
Show and tell for the week. Something new.
Yeah, something I learned today. A minute 10 into the overtime, they got the goal. They stole the puck back and great slap shot, put it in, and they get the win. It was interesting because the Tampa Bay Lightning won the previous match 8-0, I think, or 8-1. They spanked them. So, you know, the New York Island fans, and, you know, New York, they've been dying for a franchise they can get behind to get up there and win, actually, a finals of some description. To get this game to come back, because I think they were down 2-0 as well in this. So they came back. Then when it got it into overtime, actually won in overtime, tied up the series. They forced the 7th game. So it's actually been a really interesting series in how they're going for that. So the flip side, the other side of that, there's all the chat about the mass media in the US wants the Canadians gone so they can have the Golden Knights, who've been in the comp, I think, 4 or 5 years at this point. Help promote Vegas, so they can have like that Vegas versus New York or Tampa Bay that is their showpiece for the Stanley Cup. So.
To open up the US market is what you are arguing.
Bingo. You know,
I think that's tinfoil hat. If anyone will get around a Stanley Cup
the Canadians,
finals will be the Canadians in terms of television. Obviously, they can't go to the games at the moment, and the Canadians, a historic franchise, would have a huge supporter
maybe
base.
Some of that comes into it. It's just like, well, we can play the Stanley Cup final series, all 7 games, and have crowds at it. Versus, So, yeah.
Anyways,
yeah.
Conspiracy theory, absolute conspiracy.
Exactly. There's some dubious calls coming out through the media. Well, get stuck in the refs about what they're doing, but refs bad and have their eyes painted on is pretty synonymous with sports at this point,
isn't it? The Knights founded 2017, so this will be their 5th season, and they've won one, I'm pretty sure, as well.
Oh, there you go.
Their keeper, I've been doing a little bit of research, getting into hockey myself, Marc-Andre Fleury, or Flower, if you would, in English. He's a Quebecois keeper, number 1 draft pick, Pittsburgh Penguins, long-time goalkeeper. That's about my hockey input.
Yeah, I think he's on track to have some of the most goal saves, I think, in a finals series of all goalkeepers. So
shout out to the Flower.
Yeah, he's doing excellent.
Or as you'd say in Italian, Fior.
I'll trust you on that.
No comment.
The NFL.
Let's get some interesting news coming out of the NFL with some different stories.
And not much football related.
No, nothing football related. Honestly, it's we talked last week about, and I think I mentioned the COVID restrictions that the NFLPA had put out saying, an agreement with NFL of what vaccinated versus non-vaccinated players would have to do. And Cole Beasley, I think, has essentially been the face of the non-vaccinated player coming out of this. So very much said that, it's over the top and it might force me into retirement.
Yeah.
To summarize his thoughts on the whole process. He doesn't want to get vaccinated.
That's massive, isn't it? To kiss away potentially money like that, because the NFL could come out and say all players have to be vaccinated. They
kind of have really.
They're strongly suggesting it
with the restrictions. Like the restrictions are essentially what they were last year when you had to be in the bubble. It's the exact same restrictions they were. But then the vaccinated guys have like nothing. So it's very much as like, well, if you want to have the same lifestyle and playing schedule as all the other guys, you need to get vaccinated. Pushing you heavily down that path.
Well, and he came out and said that if it's retirement or vaccination, he's choosing retirement.
Yeah, well, he called the NFLPA a joke. You wanted to stay away from that.
I tell you what, I've had Cole Beasley on my fantasy teams. I think he's like a really underrated Wes Welker kind of undersized little, not that fast, not that big, not that strong guy, but he just catches balls and gets plenty of first downs. Really, I think he's been an asset for the Buffalo Bills and was pretty good back there at the Cowboys.
I'd be more interested. I'm reading his quote here, and I'd be more interested to see what he based his values in, because he says my values. And I would be interested to know a bit more about his perspective and where he's coming from, because reading some of his quote, you kind of think, are you sure? Like, I may die of COVID, but I'd rather die actually living. I have family members whose days are numbered.
If you want my honest opinion.
Yeah, but it's just like...
delusional?
Yeah, but it's that my way of living, my values are more important to me than a dollar. I'd really want to be interested to know what his values are and what that kind of... to get to that point where he makes that kind of statement.
I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, we're a sports show. We like to drink beers and take the piss and talk shit, but this is an absolute wormhole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with this.
My feeling is if you get the vaccine, it probably protects you against COVID, and I don't think Bill Gates knows when you have to take a shit. I really like Cole before this.
If anything, Zuck already knows if you're taking a shit or not. So
I'll tell you who knows, my missus. She always knows. Bloody always knows.
Yeah, I think half the neighbourhood knows when you go to the bathroom.
I could have done it 3 hours ago and she'll know. Yeah. Another big story, again, completely not football related.
Left field too.
A massive story.
I feel a good story.
It is. I like it. I like that terminology there, Monks.
Yeah, definitely.
Raiders defensive lineman Carl Nassib, he come out as gay this week. He's the first active NFL player to do it. You remember back to Michael Sam, who was out of the closet before the draft rolled through. He got drafted but never made a side.
Yeah, never started.
A 53-man roster.
Yeah, exactly.
And other players have come out after their career. But the way that he went about it was class manifest. He goes, look, guys, it was a short video.
I think it was also like it's not a huge deal kind of thing either.
It's not a big deal.
It was just like, yeah, here's my quick little Instagram shot. And
he'd known for a long time.
Yeah.
He's told his teammates already. All his family knows. By the way, I'm gay, and I'd like to make a donation, $100,000 if you would, to the Trevor Project. It's suicide prevention for LGBTQ youth. I think the way he went about it was nothing but class.
Oh, I agree as well. And the donation, being out there. Yeah, I think Monk's just kind of looked at it. Kids are 5 times more likely when they're straight to commit suicide. And I think there was something that was like, if you've got a senior figure in your life that you've come out to and they support you through the process, they're 40% less likely to commit suicide as well. Like, it's such a big thing to be out and being supported by your close knit family, but then also being brought into the community. And I think that we've seen the support from the community as well from this. Like his jersey, number one seller since then. So you know, people that probably aren't Raiders fans too, getting around that and it's like, hey, I want to support that. I want to be behind that. So big shout out to him, like,
and good on him. And it is a masculine, possibly from the outside looking in, toxic environment.
It's 100% an alpha male sport, honestly.
Yep. And then you look at the sheer numbers of it. There's like 4,000 guys that
we're doing some quick massacre.
Don't ask me tonight.
Well,
is that 25% months or 15?
Well, 4,000 would assume 110 a team at the start of a year. So 53 make the roster. They get cut, you know, and they have 90 plus, and they have 80. And
plus you have guys coming in the league and guys coming out of the league. So there's a lot of players that play in the NFL.
So just from sheer numbers, there's probably more closeted gay blokes in the NFL right now.
Big time.
And if there's not in the NFL, there are in professional contact sports leagues around the world right now. I promise you that. Promise you that. This is massive for him to do it. And the fact that he's done that, it's hopefully going to reduce a bit of the stigma around it. Because there is, let's be honest, there is a big stigma around being a gay, masculine contact sport killer, defensive lineman, athlete. And hopefully in 5 years' time or in 10 years' time, there's way less of it.
Yeah, and you might know Peps, but I think from memory, there's definitely a lot of progressive states in the US, but there's also a lot that aren't. So, you know, it's a big thing to
be honest, if you would take that country as a whole and take us as a whole, we're probably a little bit more progressive. So for the fact for him to do that is over there is probably even bigger than it was to be over here. And you could imagine a rugby league player coming out, an active league player to come out as gay.
Yeah,
that's huge. Like that's huge. It's such a macho masculine sport. They're aggressive, high velocity contact sports, and obviously from sheer numbers, there's got to be a fair few gay guys that play them. So,
definitely.
So good on it.
He's maybe not at one of the premier teams, but the Raiders in Vegas, they are a massive market and they're a massive team. Yeah. Raiders have been around, like, you know, Raiders in LA for many years. They're a huge team as well. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows the Raiders, and everyone you see people wearing Raiders gear all over the place.
It's probably outside of the US, and any US listeners here might be surprised. It's probably the most common sporting NFL item, I should say, that you could get from a sports shop in Australia.
You always see a Raiders cap.
Would be a Raiders cap or a Raiders jersey. Even though the team in the last 20 years hasn't been that good.
They stink, yeah. Well, I think, you know, LA Raiders, gangster rap, the 90s and that whole scene and that promotion and that all, like, they are still a massive worldwide franchise that people know and can see for a guy that to come out as part of that, you know, that what their club and what their club's there for. That's massive. I think it's huge. Massive props to him.
Good on him. Vikings defensive tackle.
Yeah,
Jalen Twyman.
To keep the interesting NFL news, and we'll switch it up again. The rookie.
Nothing to do with football. What happened here? He got shot.
Yeah, just visiting his arty in Washington. Obviously in the wrong place, at the wrong time. Got shot 4 times. Think thigh, buttock, shoulder, and somewhere else. He's very lucky. Going to make a full recovery.
Do you know why, or
I don't think any
the circumstances were?
I don't think any kind of reports or news have come out. Well, yesterday I think this happened. Since then, but maybe something since in that time frame. But yeah, he's very lucky, man. You know, getting shot is never a great thing.
Fucking 4 times is not good.
Yeah, and we also don't know the situation of what he got himself into, or
you can only speculate.
Yeah, but you know, you think the story. You're visiting your auntie. You just go. It's like a goodwill, just nice thing. But like as the headlines say, wrong place, wrong time. And that kind of leads. You know, on the flip side of that, I did see this. Frank Clark also got arrested. So Kansas City's defensive end got arrested for having a potential concealed weapon in his car, which could have been a submachine gun. So, America. We're actually in the deep part of NFL off season where they've finished the primary bit of training, like the early kind of training camp before they get ready for actual training camp in July to get ready for preseason. So there's, I don't think it's a 5-week gap, and maybe it is 5 weeks now with the preseason shorter. Could only be 4, but there's a couple of weeks between now the mini camps, OTAs, and the kind of early camp days to when the actual camp happens.
Right.
That all these stories start to come out as guys go back home and probably go back into environments that they probably wish they weren't in. But yeah, do you want to mention Collins, Bunks?
I don't think we need to. We can just move on.
It's the off season.
Yeah.
Let's talk about football when it rolls around.
Yes, exactly. Do you want to talk about some quick basketball? Not basketball. Not baseball either. Boxing. It starts with B. We're getting there. We're 3 hours deep, boys.
How many beers have you had? Not enough.
Not enough. Yeah. Boxing and UFC news.
A little bit quiet compared to last week. We had the UFC 263 down here in Australia. We had
Just a
Justice
fight card.
Hooney and Paul Gallen. They did have a fight card on the weekend. Korean Zombie took care of Dan Ige on the UFC on ESPN.
He's probably looking for a big fight coming up. So
He's ranked 4.
He's ranked 4.
He's really creeping up there. That's in Volkanovski's weight class. Yeah, so he might get a shot at a shot, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
He might get like a Holloway or...
Yeah. Or
if you could bring up who's 3 in that.
Well, so Volkanovski's fighting,
and then Holloway.
Ortega is fighting Volkanovski next.
Ortega is 2, isn't he?
Yeah. So who's 3? Oh, you're testing my memory now.
Yeah. So Holloway's 1, Ortega's 2, and Rodriguez.
You got the rankings there, Monks?
Yeah,
that's the ranking.
So
who was 3?
Rodriguez.
Yes.
So maybe the Korean Zombie gets him next, and then if he can get past him, he might be a shot at a title.
Mm-hmm. I'd say so, and that's a huge coming back into his career because obviously he spent the 2 years in South Korea doing his military obligations.
Yeah,
was on a tear in the UFC before he had to go back and spend that 2 years, and then is also awesomely he's come back and still been on a tear. So I'm a really big fan of Korean Zombie.
I like. Yeah, he's hard not to like.
Yeah.
I was doing a bit of reading up on him because I assumed that he would have a Taekwondo background
coming out of Korea,
but it's not the case. It's Hapkido is his background, which is a Korean martial art. It's a hybrid martial art, and it's sort of a mix of grappling and striking. I actually hadn't heard of it until today, and I did a little bit of research. And quite surprising that the Korean Zombie started in Hapkido.
Yeah,
it's been around since 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not young. He's older than Volk. He's older than Ortega,
which is awesome.
He's
to see
older
him on
than
this
Holloway,
run at the moment, getting back into it.
Yeah. And he's been in some absolute wars. That's how he got the name Zombie. Just keeps walking through punishment,
up and for some reason keeps living.
Yeah. Just walking through punishment, just taking shots and keep going. So, big fan of the Korean Zombie.
I'm just double checking. I'm quite certain he is older than Ortega, Holloway, and Volk. Yep. Yeah, older than all of them.
Yeah. So let's have a quick chat about Justin Hooney before we then talk about this. Whatever this NRL All-Stars boxing card is. So the news during the week is that Hooney has to unfortunately pull out of the Olympics. He was big-time favourite, medal chance, if not gold medal chance, in the heavyweight division for boxing in the Olympics. He had, I think, in his left hand wrist, I think he had a wrist injury in his left hand, and he'd been taking needles in his last 2 fights to make it through, which include Gallen. But during the Gallen fight in his right hand, he did a knuckle injury. And Dr. Peps on next to me might know the I think it's some of the ligaments in and around the knuckles or something like that.
There's no ligaments around the knuckles, but they're Well, there is, but it's more likely that you do a ligament around your thumb or lower down in your fingers.
Yeah. So I know, I definitely know it's knuckle injury because it's a very classic boxer knuckle injury.
Right.
So
I to be honest, I hadn't read too much about this, so I shan't speculate.
Anyway, it's ruled him out. He needs surgery.
Yeah.
So that's ruled him out for at least 6 weeks.
Well, something we can decide on is that Paul Gallen's head must be pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, and I think Gallen said, I'm going to ruin your Olympics chances. Well, he didn't end up knocking him out or, beating him in this fight, but he has ruined his Olympic chances.
Probably not the way that Big Gal had envisioned.
Yes.
It sucks, and we spoke about it before in the potty that he was a real medal chance for Australia, 22-year-old. He's a legitimate boxer. He's out. The chat is that they're trying to line up a fight between him and Junior Fa, who is a New Zealand heavyweight, and he is a big fucking unit of a human being. 19-1 is his record, and they're trying to string that together in October after the footies finishes, so you can get guys like Tamalolo. Yeah. The Cheese, Adam Fanua-Blake, and Junior Paulo on the same card.
Before you move on, so Junior Fa, his one loss is to Joseph Parker, who's, I think he's still the current Kiwi heavyweight, but he'd
be the Kiwi champion.
Yeah,
for sure.
So Parker kind of fits into that tier 2 heavyweights. He essentially needs 1 or 2 big fights to then put him into that upper echelon where he may get an Anthony Joshua fight for one of the big belts. Mm-hmm. He's always been talked about. And I think, who did he lose to? He lost to someone recently, which kind of derailed his push up into that level.
He hasn't lost since 2018.
He did lose to Anthony Joshua. There you go.
Joshua, and also to Dillian White after that.
Yeah.
But his last 5 fights he's won.
Yeah, so he had a really good streak up to that point to get him into that position. And that's why I can't say he's the tier 2. And
one of his wins was against Junior Fa.
Yes. So that's Junior Fa's one loss.
Yep. He's also 31, so he's no spring chicken. But yeah, outside of that Joseph Parker fight, hasn't lost. So that'll be massive.
Yeah. So he's a. If we're doing some quick boxing maths here, comparison, if Anthony Joshua's tier 1, you've got Parker at tier 2 and Far's tier 3, and Hooney's kind of trying to work his way through the tiers. Mm-hmm. He's beaten Gull, who probably doesn't make a tier, but
let's call him tier 5.
Yeah, but he's just working his way through that. What do you got there, Monks, and Boxer's Knuckle?
Boxer's Knuckle. I might have to get Peps to pronounce some words.
Metacarpophalangeal joint, MPJ. Yep. First knuckle of a finger. So when they're talking about that, that one.
Your big knuckles.
There, and you can see it swells right up.
Yeah, so it looks like it aggravates the tendons and ligaments.
Extensor tendon, ligament, joint cartilage. So and they're gonna operate on that.
Supposedly he needs surgery into.
I've had an operation on a finger before. It's I'm sure you can look at them.
Yeah, they both look fucked up. But I can see that one. It's a little bit bumpy and a little bit shorter.
Yeah, it's something that you wouldn't think. Oh, let's operate on a finger, but it's also something. If that tendon starts to shrink, you're fucked. You're in big danger. Yeah. They don't help. They really don't heal themselves. So, big out for the Olympics. Justice Horney for Aussies. Olympics and boxing fans, but hopefully this fight card goes ahead with Junior Fa, and it'll be interesting to see these leagues.
Exactly. So this fight card that Peps is alluding to is this NRL All-Stars card they're trying to put together in October, which would have Huni Fa as the main event essentially to top it all off. But they're talking about Paulo. They've got the Cheese, Fanua-Blake, and then Tamalolo as well as the. Some big boys in there and
fucking
character and cheese, but
massive character. I'd love to see how he goes throwing hands. Yeah. The point I wanted to make was if a dude's name's Junior, don't fuck with him. So we spoke about Junior Fa before. Junior Paulo is going to play Origin on the weekend, and he's a big bopper.
Yes.
Junior Dos Santos comes to mind. Essentially, if someone says, "Hey, my name's Junior," you say, G'day, sir. Nice to meet you. Can I get you a beverage, please?
Is Junior their birth names?
I doubt it. I
wouldn't think so, but
I imagine that's a nickname.
Well, I'd say it'd be like, I'm just going to throw out John because his old man John, but they call him Junior.
Okay, so Junior Far, his birth name is, and sorry if I butcher this, Yuwani Far Jr. So I imagine that's, and Paulo, that's his birth name, Junior Paulo.
Yeah, there you go.
So don't fuck with guys called Junior, essentially. Maybe Senior.
Seniors.
Yeah.
I don't know if no. I was going to say, Monks, find a sportsman that's named Senior because
Peter Senior, golfer.
There you go.
And I'll fuck with him. He's probably 70.
Well, yes.
61.
Oh, Peter Senior versus Pepsi on the Esky. Let's go.
Yes.
That's
All
it.
Get us on that October card
you're looking for. Yeah.
Anyways, F1. Would you guys like to take it away?
Yes, we'll happily talk about some F1, and there's a great race in France. Monks, did you get a chance to catch this race, and what were your thoughts?
I did. Yeah, great. So, yeah, perfect strategy by Red Bull throughout the race. Complete opposite to sort of what happened in Spain. I think it was Spain.
Yeah, they did it this year and they did it last year. Mercedes, that is. And would you call it karma or a bit of a, we're going to do to you what you've done to us?
Yeah, pretty much. So, France not necessarily a circuit where you see a lot of overtaking, I don't believe. So, yeah, it was good to see the strategy in play. So what we're talking about is with Red Bull, Max Verstappen was...
Started pole.
He was you wouldn't put Leclerc in the mix, but he was one of the two races to go to pit stop strategy. Everyone else went one stop. So
Leclerc kind of had to, and we'll get to the Ferraris at the end, but they had a bad day.
Yeah. So I think Red Bull caught Mercedes off guard a little bit. So as you got there, they went for the undercut. They had a great in-lap and great out-lap.
The undercut was huge in this.
Yeah, so...
It kind of... I think teams kind of missed it with... Ricciardo actually took over Leclerc and someone else. And then Leclerc pitted, and then McLaren were like, you need to pit now so you can jump these other guys and you will actually come out behind Leclerc. So he picked up two spots, but then also lost a spot in part of the undercut because Leclerc went through. Luckily for Ricciardo, of course, he took him over. But I think that was the turning point where it was like, the undercut is super powerful here. Verstappen at that point, I think, was... What were they? He lost out in the first corner, so he did start first and then was second. So they were like that for quite a long time. Hamilton... during the first round of pit stops, that's right. During the round of first pit stops, Verstappen came in and came out ahead by Hamilton by seconds. But then he had Hamilton and Bottas right on his tail. So they were the top three, and there was, say, 2 seconds to split a lot of them. So they were really, really, really close. All three were kind of complaining about tyres and I think it's 40 laps in the race left at this point. And they're 10 laps into this kind of, constantly following each other, right behind each other. And they were going, there's no way we make it to the end of this race on these tyres because they're just going to fall off a cliff. So Red Bull did the interesting thing and they pulled in Verstappen. They're like, okay, we agree with you. You're not going to make it to the end of this race. You're going to come out probably behind Perez, so you'll be in fourth. But Perez is not going to slow you down. And then I think you'll be faster than the other two guys and you'll get them in the end. That's based on the degradation. So they pull him in and they change his tyres.
Yep. And I think that's where Perez was sitting, Mercedes couldn't pit as well because, again, they would have come up behind Perez and he would have just been able to sit there and slow the pace down.
Slow and block him out. And same for him and Bottas.
Exactly.
But, so Perez did run longer, which helped Red Bull a little bit. So Max comes in, he gets his tyres, gets behind. Perez, of course, makes his one stop, so he one stops. Max did two. So Max overtakes him. And it was really good to see the kind of team camaraderie. They're like, hey, let's go, let's get after it. We're the two of us, we can do this.
Yeah.
They knew there was podium positions on for both of them. Max does Bottas easy and then gets Hamilton with a lap or two to go to get that. Perez also gets Bottas to finish third. So it's Max 1, Hamilton 2, and then Bottas, and then Perez in 3. Bottas is 4.
Great for points for Red Bull.
Yeah, massive for Red Bull. Not great for Mercedes and Hamilton. They're essentially competing for both too. Like they're the two main teams competing against it, which is really good because we've seen Red Bull being competitive, but haven't been like it's been Max and they only kind of nipping at the heels of Mercedes. Super competitive this year. Bottas was a bit filthy.
A little bit.
Because he said straight away, he was like, this is going to be a 2-stop race. Like, I need to come in. Why am we not coming in? And of course,
even before the race, he was like, I think he was very much on the 2-stop.
Yeah. But I guarantee drivers say a lot of things before races and want a lot of stuff. And the teams is like, well, we'll take that with a grain of salt. In this case, he was right. But, he's probably hasn't been right for a lot of the other races as well. But
that's it.
He wasn't a happy chappy of this. Did finish 4th. The McLarens had an excellent day. Ricciardo back to his prime form. They were two of the best overtaking drivers of the race, really using the DRS zones. They finished 5th and 6th. Mm-hmm. They're really competing for 3rd place with, say, Ferrari. Ferrari had a bad day. I think neither of them finished in the top 10. I think Sainz and Leclerc finished like, I'm going to say 12th and 17th from memory. They had a pretty average day for this race.
Yeah. Just back on, so you mentioned before how Perez and Verstappen were playing with each other and really racing together to get the win for the team. McLaren did a similar sort of thing where I think Ricciardo was in front of Lando at some point in the race, and he let Lando through because he was on fresher tyres.
Yeah, had 10 laps
let him chase down some positions, which in turn would help Ricciardo coming through. So
yeah, exactly. See if they can get after Perez, but I think they were kind of they knew their spot and they solidified that spot. Norris is kind of a bit of a sneaky one. I think he's on 76 points, so he's like 60 points away from the leaders at the moment. But he's I really like what McLaren are doing. I'm hoping both of them can kind of keep this pace, and maybe we have an extra team challenger to the other two, because the other two are definitely clear ahead. I do really like what Aston Martin have done with Vettel and Stroll. Both of them in this race ran very, very long, so they weren't very. They were high in positions, but after their first pit stop, did drop them back a fair bit. Again, they were hoping for the safety car at some point and didn't pay off. But I do like their strategy, and I do like how they got competitive cars and the positioning themselves.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about tiers again. Though they're those tier 2 teams at the moment. Hopefully, one of those teams can then pop up and then challenge Red Bull and Mercedes in this, which again adds a little bit more. I'm really excited for this F1 season compared to the last couple. The last couple was like Mercedes is going to win. Okay, who's going to finish third?
The gap seems to be closing, and like it is good to see Aston Martin sort of sit where they are after changing from Racing Point and all the issues they had with Racing Point and Mercedes parts and all that sort of stuff. So good to see them still there. So on Ferrari, so Carlos Sainz came 11th and Leclerc was back in 16th because he had the two.
One off on both.
Yeah.
Damn it. I knew it was
Close. Yeah.
As a casual fan, boys, and you say you're fired up for this season, does anyone win this drivers' championship outside of Verstappen and Hamilton? Like, could you see a Perez or a Norris or a Bottas or a Leclerc doing it?
No, Norris is my smoky. I think Perez probably can't purely based on team orders. Mm-hmm. Like, they'd have to give positions to Max. But if Max like is out of the race, then yes, he's going to get more points. I don't think Bottas has. I don't want to shit all over Bottas, but I just don't think he's got it.
Yep.
Like he's been in the second best car. Like Nico Rosberg competed with Hamilton and won championship. I don't think Bottas is kind of that level, and I don't know. Like him and the team, like the stuff on the weekend.
Yeah, there's some stuff behind the scenes where he's just not going to get.
Yeah, it's just not clicking like Seb did at Ferrari. It just didn't seem to click. There's just something missing there.
And look, as a very casual fan, from the outside looking in, you talk about Norris, doesn't have a podium. He's got 2 podium finishes.
He needs to win races.
So he's gone
which
4th,
I don't think is
3rd,
gonna happen.
5th, 8th, 3rd, 5th, 5th.
Yeah.
And then you look at Verstappen and Hamilton, it's essentially first and second every race other than Baku.
Yeah.
It's, in my opinion...
From the outside looking in, it looks like a 2-horse race.
Yeah. I'd say it's a 2-horse race.
I just think maybe if Norris can solidify that 3rd spot, say he finishes 3rd in every single race from here out, that's good points. And then you just have, if Hamilton and Verstappen, they squabble too much and they get caught up on themselves, which they have done.
There's been a couple of races
maybe
where
you can
they've got back or haven't finished, so...
You can sneak some extra points, but it's still pretty close. Like, it's not... I think at this point last year, I think Hamilton was like 100 points clear of everyone already.
Yeah,
and we were like, okay, it was... and Bottas was, a distant second, but he was still second and everyone else was distant to him. So
that's it.
Verstappen's never won the championship?
No. He's been behind Hamilton for the last 7 or 8 years.
Yeah,
I was actually surprised at how many times he hasn't won a race, considering how crazy good of a driver he is in Red Bull car.
Just got here.
He's been the second best.
126 starts, 13 wins.
Yeah.
So maybe this is his year.
But then the stat underneath that, 48 podiums. So he's
loves being a bridesmaid.
That's it.
Pretty much, yes.
I don't know. Conspiracy theories, I reckon Mercedes are sort of playing funny buggers, and then towards the end of the season, they'll just absolutely smash it.
Right.
I reckon they'll sort themselves out over like
a
the summer
Richmond
break or something.
They got to peak at the right point. So
yeah. I mean, obviously there's a few more races to go, but see how they go over the summer break. And
speaking of races, it's what they call a triple header. So in 14 days, they have 3 races.
Yeah,
so they're
going in Austria.
Well, 2 both at the Red Bull Racing Ring. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same track layout, but it's at the same track. But that's the next 2 races. So this weekend and next weekend. Of course,
Austria back to back into the British Grand Prix.
Yes. At Silverton. So yeah. Good. I'm really enjoying F1 at the moment. It's been excellent to watch.
It has been good. There's been a few finishes to races where it's just like crazy.
Yeah.
Just don't think it's going to happen and stuff just happens and that's been good.
That's why we want to say competitive to the last minute.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this potty up. The golf happened over the weekend. A major has gone to Spain. Congratulations, John Rahm.
Mm-hmm. Well deserved.
Talking about this a couple weeks ago.
Deserved.
Mate, you couldn't write a movie script better than this. 2 weeks ago, he got pulled from the memorial. He was leading by 6 shots after 3 rounds. He got the cocoa. They said, "You're no good. You're playing the most social distance sport ever invented, but sorry, you're out."
You're out.
He was emotional, but he took it like a man. Got through his COVID, few negative tests. Lines up 2 weeks later, down there in Torrey Pines at San Diego, and he goes out and he wins a fucking major. The first Spaniard to ever win the US Open, countryman Seve Ballesteros. I think he won six majors, never the US. Probably died about 10 years ago. A great golfer for the 80s and early 90s fans, Seve. Not very good off the stick, off the tee box, and just a great scrambler and recoverer. And Rahm, very grateful in his speech. Just really took this like a man. He said, "Look, I had minimal symptoms. My family's okay. We're all good.
Yeah.
We're all good. Whatever happened. And then how sweet for him to go out and win a major after being so close to winning the Memorial 2 weeks ago. It was on Father's Day. He's got a young bub who's probably about 6 weeks old.
Yeah.
And his old man was there. Louis Oosthuizen, he's a bridesmaid again. He's got 6 runners up, and all that since winning his first major back at the 2010 British Open. And you got to talk about it, the implosion. The big boy, Bryson DeChambeau, he had the outright lead after the front 9 on the 4th round, and he shat the bed with a 44 I've had a 44 before. Not at a championship course, but down at the local. One of my best nines.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's one of your best rounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had 2 bogeys, 2 double bogeys, and a quadruple bogey in that back 9. Absolutely shut the bed and really opened the door for Rahm to go in. Yeah. And, mate, this is poetic justice. You couldn't write it better. How good is sport? How good's being a nuffy, drinking beers and following and watching him and mate, you get around a bloke like John Ram.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he'd take not winning the Memorial and then coming back and winning the US Open.
I dare say. If
you're going to pick one of the two.
And that's not how your mind works, but 2 weeks ago you take that. And also, that's where he proposed to his now wife, but his fiancée at the time. He said it reminds him a lot of Spain. It's pretty much Mexico. It's very, very close to the border. But he said the climate and the hills and the weather reminds him of home. And mate, that was a sweet story. Congrats, John Rahm.
Big time from On The Esky.
The Olympics. We mentioned it at the start of the app. If you're still with us, 3.5 hours in, thank you very much. We're a month away. Tokyo 2020 is happening in 2021. We're going to have some crowds.
Yep.
It's local only, am I right?
Yeah, I think there might even be some tickets actually. So I think they've announced that 25% crowds at the moment, and they'll see if they can build them out.
Capped at 10,000.
Bingo. There you go.
But that doesn't include people coming from overseas.
No, I believe it's all local.
Yep.
I think
I'd say there's probably.
No, you go.
I was just going to say there's probably going to be international travel restrictions. Like if you fly in, you got to spend your 2 weeks in quali somewhere, and then you can go watch your event. So if you want to go to the Olympics, go now so you can get your quarantine out of the way. And
you shorten it. You said quarry before.
Yeah. Quarantine.
Yeah. We've got a nickname for quarantine. Going to the quarry.
We're very good at this in Australia. We either shorten it, add an O to the end of it,
or chuck an S or an S. Exactly. What about this Trayvon Bromell? So he ran a 9.8.
Yeah. So qualified the fastest as a sprinter for the US.
Yep.
So kind of. Putting his name out there in the world that I'm coming like favourite for the medal.
Yep, he's 26. He's probably in his window. You could probably win the thing at 30, but at 30, like he's got this one and then the next Olympics, and that's it. You'd say
everyone's talking about who's taking Usain Bolt's throne. Essentially, it's like 100 meters is one of the premier events at the Olympics. Everyone talks about.
Yep.
So who's going to take that? And he's fired the first shot running a 9.8 flat. And in trials,
that's so fast.
But then you remember the world record's 9.58.
Yeah, which was run once.
Which is one once, yeah.
You don't have to run a world record to win the gold medal at the Olympics. I think if he runs sub 9.8,
I think his fastest time is 9.77.
Oh, so it wasn't even a PB.
No.
So he might pull out his best at Tokyo in a month.
You hope you
that's so
peak at the Olympics. Like you've gotten ready to the point where you peak at the Olympics and you can run a 9.8. But then 9.58 is just so fast.
It's so fast. But people used
put it in perspective like Bolt, just bananas how quickly.
But people used to talk about Michael Johnson, how his 200 would never get broken, and then Bolt comes along. It's one of those things. I think if you look at the long jump, I don't think that's been broken for a very long time. If you wouldn't mind looking that one up, long jump world record. But in terms of the 100 metres and the 200, we just keep going forwards. It's like the better, whether it's coaching or genetics or nutrition or just
the whole
everything,
sports science in the last decade.
Sports science,
2 decades.
That's a good way to surmise it. The sports science just keeps improving, and we might be in our lifetime. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but we might get to a point where guys are running early 9 seconds in our lifetime.
Yep.
Long jump world record.
Long jump world record, 1991.
So there you go.
Yeah.
30-year world record. It's 8.95, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, okay, so that was I thought that was. I was trying to work out 19 meters is a fucking long run.
Yeah, 1991 mils. I'll go do that right now.
I don't know how this works, but it's an Olympic record.
Yes.
So that's at the Olympics.
Yeah.
So the world record was done outside.
Outside, yeah.
Actually,
which could be done at the World
I was
Championships.
going.
Could be done in my backyard.
Yeah, so the Olympic world record, 1968.
Yep.
Yeah, so even longer.
So, and who was it? There's a Cuban guy, wasn't it?
US.
Oh,
Bob
US.
Beeman.
Cuban board,
So that's strange, isn't it? So the long jump Olympic record hasn't been broken for over 50 years. And the world record. But I think outside of that, in terms of premier men's track and field events,
that was kind of
just keeps going forward.
Yeah, that's probably going to be my point. Is like the guys that probably could do long jump really, really well actually running 100 meters, and that's their specialist event versus something like. Do you think Usain Bolt as a longer, leaner guy running a long
if he
jump?
dedicated himself to long jump? Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure Carl Lewis won long jump and 100 meters in the same Olympics.
Yeah,
So, anyways, the Olympics, it's a month away.
yeah.
Shout out to the great man Usain. He had twin boys this week, St. Leo and Thunderbolt. How good.
As if you wouldn't.
That's cool.
Your last
why
name's
not?
Bolt.
Yeah, why not?
Like, there's not a better name for a runner than, say, Usain Bolt was, and
What?
he's just called his kid Thunderbolt. So
His kid's a Pokemon. All right, I think that'll wrap us up. We can't wait for the Olympics.
Ramping up very
a little
quickly.
bit of sad news for Aussie fans with Justice Hooney and Ben Simmons most likely out of it, but we're a month away. It's a year delayed. It's the pinnacle of sport.
Yep.
We can't wait. We'll get stuck into that in a month. We've got NBA conference finals. We've got State of Origin. We've got heaps of cricket.
coming up.
Thank you so much to everyone that's stuck with us this long.
One real quick thing.
Yeah.
Usain Bolt has a daughter, Olympia Lightning Bolt.
Lightning bolt.
There you go.
Funny bastard.
Yeah.
Please get
Thunder
on
and lightning. There you go.
If you're still with us, we've got an Instagram. Please follow that. With
Some good dank memes on
Yeah,
there.
he's making some good content on that.
Hopefully start getting some more
And
out.
we might make a Facebook. We get around this.
I think we were saying that for last month, but we'll get to it at some point.
Might get a Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn.
Oh, that last two. OnlyFans?
Or you, Peps. You show off those cars.
Mate, if you're paying to watch that with these blokes sitting here, may God have mercy on your soul. Peace be with you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.